Maybe have I actually properly shown you this?
This is not me.
Oh, Bulbasaur! Yes!
He's
Kanto!
the best fire Pokemon.
Kanto!
Oh, please tell me that was recorded.
Kanto, baby!
Oh my god.
Let's go!
Alright, let's record this episode.
Welcome, everyone, to the Permadeath Podcast, episode 43!
Woo!
I am one of your hosts, Bulbasaur!
I think
Joined
you mean
as
Bul
always.
Bilsaur.
I'm Bulbasaur. Joined as always by my two friends of the world, Ken Ross. Huh?
Ebiware. Because there's a Pokemon called Beware, so it's Ebiware, and I don't know what Ken Ross would be.
Is that a new Pokemon?
Yeah, it's kind of ugly.
Oh, its name is Beware.
Beware, and it's a big bear that's like pink and kind of has like a raccoon tail.
Beware.
He hugs people to death.
Yeah, that's true. Pokemon got scary.
It was always scary. But yes. 43. Episode 42 came out about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, so before recording this episode, we sat down. We're like, what episode is this? What episode number is this? It's 43. Abby's like, I think it's 42, right? I'm like, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh, wait a second. No, we did do a 42. And I realized that VOD, we streamed our E3 reaction, or like our E3 thoughts back in June. And we live streamed that, and there's a VOD for that. And thank you for the people who watched it live. For the people who didn't and have been waiting for it to go live for 2 months, almost 2 months on the dot too. I think we recorded that on June 28th. You can now enjoy that. That's up for your listening pleasure. You can check it out, hear what we thought of all the conferences. Those opinions haven't aged. You know, Command and Conquer still looks bad. So how y'all doing on this fine Saturday afternoon evening? Yeah, how do you do that? It's like brunch.
I mean, it's still sort like I class.
No.
It's like evening after like 6 to me.
So there's brunch. Yeah. What's lunch and dinner?
Dinner.
It depends what you call. It depends what you
so,
call dinner, because I call lunch dinner and I call dinner tea. So
dinner is the largest meal that people tend to have.
Linner sounds like a new Pokemon.
That's because there's one called Litner.
Litner,
right.
isn't it? Litten.
Litten, yeah. Who's Litner?
That sounds like a Final Fantasy character.
Yeah, maybe.
We're all over the place. We're all over the map.
This is going great.
So welcome, everybody, to our
standard procedure.
Is this considered our August episode?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes, yeah, because we record at the end of a month normally. So yeah, this is August.
Yeah. So this is the Permadeath Podcast. We talk about video games always for as long as we need to. There is one thing we should address in the beginning of the episode.
Little thing.
Before we get going, because I don't know what the retention rate is on our episodes. I've never looked
Probably
at
not
stats.
good.
It's me. I am the retention rate.
Thanks, Ken Ross. We appreciate the support. The show will be taking a little break for a little bit. I'm going to be taking a hiatus. It's not the end of the show, and there will still be things happening on the channel. That's really it. You know, I
was expecting it to be a big, long.
I thought you were going to be like all
nah.
heartfelt, like, oh, I really love.
No, you know,
Permadeath,
it's. I don't want to make it more dramatic than it needs to be, or more self-important than it needs to be, like for something like this. But then again, I mean, at the same time, it's one of those things that's been around for 4 years, but it's not going away. But also, I think maybe even addressing the people, because the people we have listening, it's always been worth it. You know what I mean? For the handful of people who do, it's always felt more like a conversation than we're entertaining them. Because those same people are always in the Discord.
we don't entertain anybody.
We're not entertaining at all.
It's you know what I mean? It always kind of felt like, you know, some people would get discouraged, I feel, you know, doing something like this and maybe not seeing growth. I mean, granted, we've never really kind of like tried to really change a lot of things around to try to grow. But I've never really felt the need to really push for it. Because when we do put out an episode, we do get feedback, and those same people are in the Discord, the same people are in our mentions, they're in the comments. They always tune in for the live streams. So like those things are always worth it for me. And the thing is the cool part is like a lot of those people are the same people who were around 4 years ago when we started. That audience was much larger back then, but the people who have clung on to our backs are still there. So I appreciate that so much. And so that's why like I've been feeling like I want to take a break for a little while, and I know like the time commitment isn't big. We do once a month. It's not like a thing where we're doing like 5 episodes a week. You know, we're doing some daily news show or anything like that. And I'm just like, I'm so stressed. You know, but it's a weird feeling when you don't feel like doing something right at the moment. You know, even if it is only once a month commitment. You don't feel like you have it in you to talk about games as much. Which we'll see. You know, I'll probably fucking finish this episode and change my mind. But if that doesn't happen, indefinite little break for myself. But again, the show will continue, and there will still be things on Permadeath. So thank you, everybody, for listening as long as you have.
That is the also other thing to point out. Like, if we make anything that isn't what it says up there of like straight up podcast, Bill's not bailing on that. As far as I'm aware.
No,
like if we're doing
no.
Other bits.
No, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
you know, that's a good clarification because I also didn't really even mention that in the chat. Like we'll be doing a Kiwami 2 spoiler cast. We'll be doing some Overcooked 2 stuff. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff
today.
Like, I don't have the game yet. Sorry.
Bill, give me a PayPal address. I'll do it right now.
I'm sorry. Or maybe I'll buy it mid-show.
Yeah, when we talk about Overcooked 2, you'll be like, I've got to get this game.
I have a bunch of coins saved up, so I've been meaning to do it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, I mean, I guess the thing also, you know, even like post-game episodes, you know, like I will show up on those too. You know, it's a thing of, you know, just the main show where we talk long form for 4 hours about video games. I'm not really feeling that same like I'm giving it my all, and I think the show deserves that. It doesn't deserve someone who's not giving it their all. So I'd like to kind of recharge.
Bye, Kinross.
No, and, you know, I will say that's another thing that I feel like, you know, this will help out a lot, and I didn't mention this also in the message I sent you guys yesterday. But Kinross, if you hadn't taken over a lot of the editing stuff like a year ago, I might have burnt out quicker. Just because that part of it I hate colossally.
Same.
And adding that on top of it, I mean, it's been Kinross, you put more effort in, I think, than all of us. So like, I appreciate that. So yeah. So don't sell yourself short. So with that said, look forward to more content as always.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just focus on post game for the foreseeable future instead of continuing without Bill, because to me that would be weird, because me and Bill have been doing this for 4 years.
You know, when there was one episode without Bill.
Yeah,
when I was writing,
it didn't feel weird.
When I was writing my message to you guys yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna go back to the channel and look at like the old, see how long ago the first episode was. Because when I wrote the message, I wrote 8 years ago.
If we make it another 4 years, I will be shocked.
I have no fucking idea why I almost thought it was a decade.
I've only known you 7 years. I don't know how I've been podcasting longer.
I was reading that in a club.
Yeah, in a gay bar.
In a gay bar, as someone was apparently trying to hit on me, and I just wasn't aware of it. And it was reading like a sort of breakup letter, and I was like, "Oh man, it's serious." And people at work are like, "You need to stop looking at your phone." It's like, "No, I've got to read this."
No, you know, when I wrote it, I wanted to try to not make it sound so dramatic because I'm not quitting. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing I wanted to try to make clear. Was that like, oh, I'm not. This isn't like me going like, oh, I'm done. You know, it's like I just wanted an extended break. You know, see how this year goes and everything, and just kind of recharge the slate of me wanting to make stuff. So when I typed all that, I'm like, that's long. But
I genuinely thought you were dying when I first saw the message.
I wrote it like I almost felt like I was writing some kind of PR letter or something. It was like, shit, that sounds terrible. So I was like, I guess I'll link that Paul Simon song, I guess, and see what maybe I can make it a little easier.
I will say though, for me, this is gonna make it sound real dramatic. So calm down if I can. But when Bill invited me to join Permadeath in the first place, I had been saying to Alan for like 2 months, "Man, I really miss podcasting with Bill and Yokorama." And then just randomly, we hadn't spoken in ages, and you were just like, "Doing a gaming podcast. Do you wanna like come and join in the fun?"
Come on down.
And I remember that was like really cool because I was feeling really alienated from people who were my friends before. And
I don't even remember how I got here. I was a guest once. I don't know why I was a guest.
because we couldn't find Yokorama.
But then why? Because it'd been off for a while. It's like,
Because we continue not to be able to find Yokorama.
No. I mean, it had been off for a while, and then you're like, we can also do. But I don't know why that happened. But I am.
It's been a long, fun road to do this. Because we started off with a much larger cast, and much
Worse
larger
audio.
audience, and have been on multiple hiatuses, multiple breaks.
At least we're telling you
trying to
about this one, so...
Yeah, trying to suss out, like, what's the best schedule? We could do it bi-weekly. We would try weekly, and we would do it for, like, 2 weeks and be like, yeah, and then,
Then we wouldn't.
fizzle out. And then we finally decided on the monthly thing, which we've been the most consistent we've ever been, in terms of, like, oh, man, Permadeath actually regularly releases something. And that's been fun. It's been lots of trial and error to get to that point, but we got there, and it worked for us for a bit. But
there's going to be stuff in the meantime. It's not like it's not the permadeath, if you will. It's...
that's right. You always come back. You
Is
lose
it
some items,
permadead yet or not? No.
But yeah, look forward to post game and other fun smaller stuff.
Yeah,
coming from us
if you
as well.
listen to
Stuff's
this,
still
if
gonna
you
happen.
could give some feedback on post game, because I haven't gotten any really.
Yes,
That's
if you haven't
almost
checked
as good
post
as
game
bad
out.
feedback.
Did you guys record post game? Was that before E3 or after E3? That was before, right?
Before
Yeah.
E3.
Right?
Because it was E3 predictions and whether E3... Not E3
No, it was,
predictions. Whether
If it
E3 was
still
relevant.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah, if you haven't listened to Permadeath Post Game, if you have no fucking clue what it is, that's our second podcast. It's a more topic oriented podcast.
because people
where
are
we
always
deep
telling us
dive-
to talk about the topical stuff.
And like it's so hard to do that in a podcast where we spend 3 hours talking about the games we've been playing. We need that much time to talk about the game. There's no way we could fit a topic in here. So
Maybe
so
that's why we
had
thought
to-
weekly was a good idea at one point. I don't know.
We had to
Yeah.
lop it out.
Yeah.
But
But then
but
nothing
yeah,
happened that week, so it was just like...
enough about us. Let's talk about some video games. Off the top, I want to check in on Ebby and Kinross, you two, way back in the Kubo era.
In the Kubo era.
We had played the Elder Scrolls Online beta. And back then the game was pretty awful in a lot of ways.
I got trapped in a hole for 2
It was
hours.
on top of the game being kind of awful, the bugs were tremendous. I mean, granted it was the beta, but that kind of carried over into launch even. I played it on launch for a bit, and the game had a thing going where it's like it didn't feel like it knew exactly where it wanted to go. It had these weird Elder Scrolls systems kind of taped around that MMO, and it was just kind of like the potential was so much more. But since then they have tirelessly updated the game, put out DLCs, expansions, added new land masses, new classes, tons of items and itemization updates and balance updates. They've changed leveling systems, things all over the place. You two have been playing the Elder Scrolls Online quite extensively, also.
I don't want to check how many hours I've played it so
It
far.
doesn't tell you, does it?
You can type in the
You
chat,
could do it, yeah.
and it gives you like.
Every MMO has one way to remind you how much of your life you've wasted on it.
That was what put me off of playing World of Warcraft, because I had it for a month and it said your playtime is like 59 hours, and I'm like,
me
no, I've got to.
I don't even want to look at, because I still have my original character on WoW, Festerman, who I've played since vanilla, and then my original Mage, who I played since Burning Crusade, they've got to be in the tens of thousands of hours. There's just no doubt in my mind about it, and it's kind of gross when you think about it. Could have learned to play piano or something.
Yeah, you could have done something.
But instead, I was
Yes,
raiding
use the
Molten
phone.
Core and Karazhan. But yeah, so you two have been playing Elder Scrolls Online quite extensively. Quite a turnaround from playing the beta. I knew you guys would like it because I knew the current state the game was in. But what were you thinking going in? You guys got it on sale, right?
Yeah, it was £7.50
on the Steam sale?
from the summer sale. Apparently, don't buy it through Steam though, because the client gets
Yeah,
buggy
there are
or
some.
whatever. I don't know.
There are some connection issues. I think they might have fixed it because the reviews went back up to mostly positive instead of being in the negative. Steam reviews, on an aside, are so finicky
Did you
and
see-
interesting to watch.
Overcooked 2 has mixed
Go ahead.
reviews, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
interesting because like you look at Monster Hunter World, or you look at you know what? No, you look at like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Steam reviews, I don't ever really read them at face value, like the aggregate. I mostly I try to dive into the numbers because people will troll vote those down. Like Civilization 6 added some kind of DRM or something, and it got pumped down to overwhelmingly negative. They removed it, and now it's back up to mixed. So it's like it's a finicky beast. But if I'm lagging at all, by the way, I'm sorry. Do I sound okay?
What's happening?
You sound fine. Your video's off. That's all.
That's what I figured. Yeah, for some reason, for people listening at home, if anything ever looks weird, for some reason, doing video on Discord like destroys my internet, like completely, and I don't know why. Periodically, it'll do it, and it makes no sense. I think it's because I'm technically like uploading, like I'd be streaming on Twitch, so it kind of just power punches my internet in the face. But Elder Scrolls Online,
Yeah.
the game you two have been playing. What are you even thinking about it? Talk to me about it.
Well, the only thing I remember from the beta is trying to find you in the mega server and you just being like an arrow that just was like floating around.
Bad.
I remember going on a quest where we were waiting for some like refugees to come through or something, and they weren't spawning, and there were just a bunch of people in this cave just like emoting because there was nothing else to do because the quest was bugged.
Bad.
And that's pretty much all I remember.
Wasn't there also an enemy that we had to kill, and like because so many people were waiting because the timers were off, that you couldn't actually kill it because it was already dead by the time you saw that it was there? Vaguely remember that.
Probably there are a lot of stuff like that would happen in MMOs, early MMOs that people have since fixed. That was probably a problem in the beta. But coming off of that beta, how has your time been with it now?
Much better. Especially, this is going to sound weird, but my experience also vastly improved when I got access to the infinite crafting bag of holding. Oh, I don't think I could play that game without having an ESO Plus subscription, because that crafting bag is just the most useful thing that they could have put behind a paywall, to be honest. Because I really like doing crafting and making armor and doing the writs and stuff. So I need that stuff.
Yeah, playing through that game without being able to just pick everything up. Even if you're not picking everything up, just picking stuff up occasionally will destroy your inventory. They were very, very sneaky and smart to because they've already incentivized buying ESO Plus with the crowns that you get from it and access to the DLC and little 10% XP boosts and all that stuff. But like that stuff to me is negligible in comparison to the crafting bag, which if they put on the store for a one-time purchase, I have to imagine a lot of people would probably bounce out of ESO Plus, so that's why they don't put it on the store.
I would.
For a one-time purchase.
I'd be like, give me that bag. See you later, ESO Plus. I'd do it.
Yeah, I mean,
because it's
even
saving
at
money in
any
the long
price,
run. So
it's invaluable.
To do
Yeah.
thief stuff. or Morrowind stuff.
I could buy. Well,
oh no,
we wouldn't be able to do
Morrowind
Morrowind stuff.
Yeah.
It's Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood and stuff like that. We wouldn't be able to do.
And werewolves.
To be honest, though, the Thieves Guild has probably been the most disappointing part of ESO for me. So if you don't know, in Skyrim in particular, the Thieves Guild was my thing. My character was like a thief. And that's what I build all of my Elder Scrolls characters on now, and I don't really like the Thieves Guild stuff in ESO. So there's that, which is kind of like...
Why?
Well, because...
Is it because of the writs?
Yeah, they give you writs, and I don't know where the story, like, progresses for the Thieves Guild next, but they give you these writs, and it's like, okay, pickpocket 10 people in Gratwood or whatever. You're like, okay, I'll try and do that. But the pickpocketing is so shit. It's just really not very good. So if you're playing a thief character and you've got a shit ton of stuff on you that you've stolen, you try and pickpocket one guy, the guard are going to chase you down. The guard will catch you. It doesn't matter what you do, they will catch you. Because they have things that if you click the run away button, they can grab you and stop you, and if they kill you, all of your stuff disappears that was stolen, so you might as well just
Or you pay the bounty and all your stuff gets taken
or
back.
you pay the bounty and all the stuff gets taken back, or there's another option that I don't have access to, which is like a persuasion option of being like, oh, I've got
Someone
friends
else
in
has paid
high
for it.
places, or whatever, but like, it just feels really backwards to be like...
I wonder if that comes with like Thieves Guild progression. Like you get to a certain point and it sort of
I don't know. I
turns
can't
out
progress
that some super
because
high powerful.
I can't progress because the pickpocketing quests are shite.
Yeah.
Stealing stuff I don't have a problem with, but pickpocketing is just... Oh, it's a 50-50 chance. Oh, guess you failed. Oh, it's a 70% chance that you'll succeed. Oh, guess you failed. And there's like nothing you can do to be better at that. It's just a coin flip, essentially.
Then you leg it to the nearest fence.
Yeah.
Which always has a guard stood outside it. Seems a bit weird.
My favourite one is in Vukulgard in Oradon.
Yeah.
Where it's at the back of a church and there's just like people just
guard
wandering up the side.
Yeah. There's a guard stood right by the tree. If he turned around, he'd see the Thieves Guild. People just constantly popping out of this grate. It's like, what the hell's going on over there? Be the biggest bust in Vukulgard history.
Other than that and my minor wobbly that I had with the champion levels.
Have you gotten the hang of that now?
Yeah, but I'm still like just pumping points into stuff I'm never gonna like actively use. It's like, your magic's better now. Cool, I don't use magic.
You do use magic though, because you kept complaining about it going down. But I'm pumping stuff in with like end goal point. Like it's like, those last 3 things that require me to have 80 points in the lover. So that's what I'm basically just pumping crap into.
I do like the fact that you can just change where your points are at any point. So you can be like, 3,000? I want to start again. You can, and it's easy to do that. But
it's a very flexible system. Very odd system to encounter after hitting level cap. To basically be said, hey, here's 800 more levels. And it's like, oh, what? Wait, what's like what?
And I thought that meant, oh man, that's a lot of levels. But then, as it turns out, you get champion levels every minute if you're doing dolmen stuff.
Super fast.
It's just, I think I had 150% experience scroll on, and I did an hour of dolmens, and I leveled up like 70 times or something. It was stupid.
Not to forget the what must be for me now 10 million boosted experience.
Yeah, because you get what do they call them?
Enlightenment or something.
Yeah, you get like enlightenment.
Like rest XP. Yeah.
You get boosted experience for the first like 4 million or something you earn in a day. That's not right, but
there's something like that. Yeah, I play the most garish golden wizard.
Oh my god, Kinross's
Tamriel
character
has ever seen.
looks like Kinross, but wearing a golden like wizard hat.
Gandalf hat.
Yeah, like a Gandalf hat and golden robes, and it looks like he's made out of gold.
Sometimes I do change like the bottom outfit, but the hat always stays on, so I'll be wearing like some really skimpy barbarian armor, but the hat's still on.
My favourite was when that guy came up to you and was like, "Hello, golden man."
Yeah, we were waiting for a dolmen. We were waiting for a dolmen, and a level 8 walked up, and whispered to me. He was like, "Hey, Golden Man, why are you so gold?"
Did they? I haven't played the PC version too much. Do they have voice chat in the PC version now?
I don't think so.
Not that I've seen.
Have you noticed it?
No.
'Cause that was always one of my favorite things about the console version was the proximity voice chat.
Oh,
if you have that turned on, it works like, like any proximity voice chat system would work. Like saying like VR chat or whatever the fuck it might be. Where like you're walking in town and like you see a guy running with his voice on and it gets louder and louder as it gets closer to you. That stuff always cracked me the fuck up when you would be in towns. Because back then, they didn't have text chat on consoles yet, so you had to use your voice if you wanted to buy stuff off people. And you would walk into town like Raw, whatever the fuck it's called, places like that, or like Green Root. What the hell is the name of the tree city and the elf place? That doesn't matter.
Elden Root.
Grotwood, yeah. Elden Root, yeah. One of those two words. And you just walk in and be like, "Hey, I'm buying some motifs." And I go, "Fuck you, buddy. You've been ripping people off for years." And then it's like, "I haven't been ripping people off. Fuck you, pal."
To be fair, that sort of does sound appealing because it's like, hey, it's like I'm in an actual market.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. No, I love
It'd be
that.
super distracting if we were like trying to have a conversation. We're just like walking through town. It's like, "Get your dolmens here."
And then you'd hear
X.
people like
Extra dolmen.
You'd hear people like who have been probably trying to sell some shit all day, just like selling materials. Like,
Anyone got potatoes?
Oh my god.
Potatoes
it was great.
for
It was
Addy
great.
Whip.
That
That's why I
sounds
wasn't.
amazing.
It'd be awesome, like, "Hello, Golden Man." would be really awesome.
I'm honestly surprised that there isn't some level of that for like RP purpose.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
I
like a
was-
very RPG, if you know what I mean.
No, yeah, like I was like on my walk back from the shop, I was like, now that I think about it, the people that are super into this game, are they offended that I'm just wearing like a default costume in garish gold walking through town? I don't know. But I don't care.
I also have to mention we saw a character and his name was Gan of the Delph. It was so perfect.
That's great. It's always funny to think about the RP aspect of MMOs and like how some people go like really wild with naming conventions. Like for the longest time in WoW, I've played on Emerald Dream, which is like one of the biggest RP servers in the game, and I played on it at the time because it was the only RP PvP server. But I'm still on it because it's cool to see people RP out in the wild. Like I was standing outside of a dungeon in one of the new zones in Battle for Azeroth, and some guy walked up to me, and my dwarf's name is Iron Gut. And he walks up and he's like, "Oh, hey, Lion." This is a voice chat. I'm just reading what he said to me. "Oh, hey, Lion Gut. Would you like to join us in the depths of the dungeon?" I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ. I wasn't fucking expecting that." And I'm like, I don't want to just say like no. So I'm like, "Oh, no, I've seen the horrors. I must go." And then I'm running away from these people and I see them still typing to each other. And they're like, "I wonder what Iron Gut has seen." But I wonder what they feel like when, like, I play my Draenei shaman, whose name is just Frampus. Like, no RP implications, no naming conventions, just, I am Frampus. And, like, do they get offended? Because some people are really into that shit.
Yeah.
And they don't like it littering, so...
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of weird that you just have, like, servers based on where you are. So you have like the European server and the North American server, because when
there's no
I was
split of the RP people.
Exactly. When I was in World of Warcraft, I'm pretty sure there were like PvP servers, PvE servers, and I don't know. Some
Final
are
Fantasy
probably
14's the same.
more roleplay based. I don't know.
I think
I
Guild
played
Wars
on
is the same. You just have a PvP like island, is how it seems to work now.
Yeah. What's interesting about Final Fantasy 14 servers is they don't have them designated as RP, but the community has picked the ones that like these are the RP servers. I played on one of them.
Accidentally, as a new guy, be like, "I'm gonna join this server."
Yeah, and then walk into somebody ERPing.
Tiny guy.
Like I saw somebody RPing really heavily in Gridania, and his name was Shinji Ikari. And it's like, yo, bro, like, who the fuck are you trying to be? Are you the Shinji Ikari? Like, what the hell's going on here?
Just when you can't think of a name, just name it after an anime character that...
I'm Naruto. The Stampede.
But yeah, in In regards to ESO, I feel kind of bad that maybe 60% of my leveling came from dolmens, because they can actually be kind of fun. So it means that I've made next to no story progression, minimal quest progression, and
you know what though?
Generally not been doing I've been doing provisioning and enchanting like a bitch, but yeah, generally I feel like there's all this game, and I've spent pretty much all of it in Vulkulgard and Auradon doing dolmens.
You know what though? And like, that's kind of one of the beauties of ESO, I think, compared to a lot of other MMOs, and I think WoW has even tried to adapt some of these principles, and I'll talk about that later when we talk about Battle for Azeroth. Like ESO is nice in that regard, in that like once they added one Tamriel and made it so that like you can go to any zone and do whatever, and you can level so many other ways. And because it used to be gated like any other MMO, where like, oh, this zone is for like the 30 to 40 bracket, or this zone is for the 20 to 25 bracket. And so you'd get your ass kicked if you walked into some zone you shouldn't be in. But like due to the nature of how Elder Scrolls games have progressed since Oblivion, they want to scale everything to you. And so, but like I think that works even better in an MMO. Because I know people complain about it in like Skyrim and stuff like that. And it does feel weird. But it works so well in ESO because now, Kinross, that you are where you are level wise, when you do get around to doing those story quests, like the higher champion level you are, those rewards and those items that you would have gotten from those story quests, you'll now be able to use them like in a more relevant fashion than because you probably would have scrapped those weapons 30 levels ago. Yeah, and now you'll get a much higher level version of those quest rewards because they'll scale to you. So like you'll get things and go, I could actually use this well into Champion 160 or whatever, instead of going, I scrapped that shit 50 levels ago. So like it works both ways. It's cool to experience the whole game leveling up because like I think the game has one of the best like skill point progression systems in MMOs. It offers a lot of flexibility, and it makes leveling up and questing fun compared to some other MMOs. But also, like, it's okay if you skip over that and just do dolmens for a bit, and then go do those quests and get those skill points and those items and see those storylines. Because then you're also still getting champion levels too. So I will say that's kind of the thinking behind the champion system, was that you're still getting shit like that.
It returns from Destiny time and every other MMO of like not having enough people. Now I've doubled up my party. I have Ebby. We tried to do a dungeon thing that was a pseudo required quest. Jesus Christ, you can't do it with 2 people.
No.
Finally, we found a thing that says recommended for 4 people. I'm like, oh, great.
So we don't know 4 people who play this game in total?
We do. We've got Bill and Maze, but trying to get Bill, Maze.
Yeah.
Well, Maze doesn't like it that much. And Bill...
I will play it more. It was an unfortunate timing of the WoW expansion coming out.
Yeah. Because
I have to. Now I am on subbing. I'll talk about that later. Not for any reason of the game sucking. It's just my pattern of I sub to WoW for the beginning of an expansion, play through it, level the cap, see everything, get the fuck out because I have other shit to play. But yeah, that coming out and just like.
It's been an intense couple of months for stuff coming out.
A lot of stuff, and it's not
stopping.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse with Kiwami 2 coming out, Shenmue out, Spider-Man coming out, Destiny coming out. It's like, Jesus Christ, you're just like, now it's gonna be cool. Yeah, it's.
They announced Peppy. They announced Peppy's gonna be in Starlink.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just unfortunate.
So yeah, I look forward to seeing more. I kind of half thought, okay, now that I've had a month of Plus, I'll cancel it and see how awful the inventory gets. And then I log in and I've gotten my free crowns, and I'm like, I guess that was today. I thought it was tomorrow.
I didn't realise when I said I would like a month of ESO Plus that it was a auto-renewed subscription. I thought they'd be like, oh, it's cancelled now, do you want to redeem it?
Yeah.
Which I would have redeemed it anyway, so it's not like that big of a deal to me, but I just need to remember to cancel it when I stop playing.
Yeah.
But I've really been enjoying ESO a lot more than I thought I would. Like, it's my go-to game because I've kind of stopped playing Overwatch because I'm feeling really frustrated with that game right now. So...
And I will say, I do constantly look to see whether Somerset's on sale because I kind of want to get into the jewellery.
Yeah.
The fact that you are able to harvest materials for a thing that you can't do is frustrating, but I totally understand why.
I have like 400 pewter dust, 400 copper dust. I've got about 100 electrum dust just sitting in my fucking pockets, and I can't do anything with it because I don't have the Somerset expansion. But I think once I've explored more of the like baseline quest and have finished, you know, the base game story, that's when I'll probably look into getting Somerset when it's on sale. But the thing is, I decided that I wanted to go to Skyrim because part of Skyrim is in the game, and
it's half of it, isn't it?
Yeah, like half-ish of Skyrim is in the game. You got the Rift and East
March or something. Eastwatch.
I don't remember.
Something
anyway,
like that.
I was like, I'm gonna go to Skyrim because I want to see something familiar. Because I've played far more Skyrim than I should have. I don't recognize a damn thing. I do not see Skyrim when I'm in Skyrim, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm in the Riften sort of like Thieves Guildy section. It doesn't look like Riften at all. I was really disappointed.
To be fair, it is going to be set in a different time, so I guess that's the logic.
Yeah, everything was on fire. Nothing was in the same place. Like, it's just
how does Morrowind
like thousands
hold up
of years
to Morrowind? Is that fairly similar, or
so?
They did a straight transfer of that, didn't they?
Well, what they did was they took the map of Morrowind and copied it one for one. Like they took the landmass.
Yeah.
Took that and then just filled that in with like each location is in there in the expansion, but like obviously again it's thousands of years before like the series starts, so a lot of the continent, like the eruption of Red Mountain hasn't happened yet, so it's not an Ashland the way it is in Morrowind.
It's weird that they give you Ashland gear in boxes then in the loot boxes.
Yeah. People, they're nostalgia. But so a lot of the land masses, I loved what I played of Morrowind. Admittedly, I haven't beaten it because it's long. But like, man, just seeing Balmora again. But what's cool about seeing Balmora and Vivek City, and what's cool is like Vivek City is one of the bigger cities in the game Morrowind, and in ESO it's currently under construction. So you see Vivek City being built as you're playing, and like just seeing more grass and trees. And the Silt Striders and all of the things that you recognize from the game in there. They did a really good job on Morrowind, in my opinion.
I guess there's not much in Skyrim apart from like dragons, which I assume are not there, and
I mean, how long ago did Alduin get banished? Spoilers: Alduin got banished.
I don't know.
Was it a couple of 100 years before or something like that?
I couldn't tell you.
Because it would be sort of cool if you could be suddenly involved in the banishment of Alduin, if it was sort of in that sort of time frame.
I can't imagine them doing something. So I have my little predictions for what they'll do eventually. I think at some point in the game's life, Cyrodiil, like that's now the big PvP zone, that battle will end, and they will make Cyrodiil an explorable zone at some point. I have no basis for these predictions. It's just how fucking many years people are going to be fighting there, you know? So, because also a lot of people have been calling for them to rework the World versus World PvP stuff. It's been a long time coming since they've revamped any of that shit, to the detriment of PvP players. I don't play PvP, so I'm sorry for them, but, you know, whatever. Then I do think that we'll see that, and then I do think we'll probably see a full dragon-based Skyrim expansion type shit at some point later on down the line.
I'd buy that shit day one.
Yeah, I think we'll see that for sure. I really do.
That's the part of Skyrim that I'm looking forward to, though, because that's the shit that I know, like Whiterun and Helgen, and
Helgen when it's not burnt to the ground.
Yeah. But cool. I'm glad you all have been enjoying it.
I'm genuinely enjoying it. I would
cool.
like to progress more with the.
I think it was a
game,
a bargain as well for the price it was.
Yeah. It was like £7.50, I think.
£7.50, which is 4 times less than what I paid for 2 Dreamcast ports. So...
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Anyway, tell me about World of Warcraft, Bill.
Oh, okay.
Because we're on the
we're
subject of MMOs.
MMO.
So...
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So, Battle for Azeroth came out last week. As per tradition, yeah, but it's pretty wild. It's funny because you say that like as a joke, but it really does feel like it's been out longer. Because I feel like I've played it for 600 hours, and I'm ready to stop. It's a really great expansion. I think my life just isn't suited to putting full-time hours into WoW. Not just because of busyness, but just because where I'm at now, I really just want to play a lot of stuff. And you kind of can't play a lot of stuff if you're playing World of Warcraft. You either play WoW or you play a lot of stuff. There's really no in between. Like, I can't be playing Shenmue and also playing WoW. I want to play Dead Cells, but I have WoW over here. Forsaken comes out, Spider-Man comes out. It's like I don't feel comfortable staying subscribed to WoW when I'm going to not be playing it. It's like money down the shitter. So it's a thing of I canceled my subscription, but that is not based on any aspect of the game's quality. Because right now, Battle for Azeroth, I thought Legion was a fantastic expansion pack. They did a really wonderful job at Legion after Warlords of Draenor, which was poop in a lot of ways. But they learned from Warlords, and they took things from Warlords that didn't work. Aspects of the garrison system, the follower mission, stuff that felt like mobile game busy work. Still feels like mobile game busy work. They keep it in the game, but they've improved on that system and iterated on it and made it less important. And that's okay. And following Legion, which in the previous expansion pack, they got rid of weapons, or I should say upgradable, like lootable weapons. So when you do a dungeon, like, oh, that boss drops a new sword I want. So instead, everyone got these artifact weapons. Each class had a one weapon per spec. So if you're a warrior, you had a big two-handed sword for your arms spec. You had these two swords for your fury spec, and then a sword and shield for your protection spec. And that was the only weapon you had the entire expansion pack. And the way it worked is you would get artifact power and level that weapon up, and that weapon had a skill tree, and you could unlock all these abilities for that weapon, and it would change the weapon's appearance, and you could unlock skins for it. Each weapon had a special ability that you could use, like a super, and all these cool things with them, and they were really awesome. And each class got their own little city, a little class hall for them, and then the warriors got to go with the Valkyr up into Viking, the Vikings, and you got to like fly up to Valhalla and like hang out with them and like meet Odin and all this shit. So it was really awesome. Legion was an ultimate like badass power trip expansion. Move on to Battle for Azeroth, and this one feels a lot more grounded than Legion. Legion was like super power, bringing Illidan back, all this stuff. And for anyone who doesn't play WoW, I'm speaking gibberish at this point. But like, bring Illidan back, all these things in Legion. Whereas Battle for Azeroth kind of reels it back to like that Alliance versus Horde conflict that we haven't really been a part of for a bit, at least from where I'm looking at. Like, yeah, Sylvanas burned the World Tree and burned Darnassus down, which started, a larger conflict in this war. I mean, it was already bubbling.
Not my Horde.
Yeah, it's already bubbling, and it's a shame that I'm unsubbing because what they've done this expansion pack is most expansions since Burning Crusade, Horde and Alliance have leveled through the same zones. So in Outland, the Horde and Alliance both started in Hellfire Peninsula, worked their way through Zangarmarsh, Terrakar Forest, wherever. Wrath of the Lich King, you would start in Howling Fjord, or Borean Tundra, Cataclysm, whatever. You get the point. But in this one, because things are so conflicted, because things are an actual war, it makes zero sense for Horde and Alliance to be tackling the same villain from the same location. So you have the Alliance who are trying to get forces to fight the Horde because they are outnumbered. They've been outsmarted by Sylvanas. She in the scenario leading up to the expansion, she just totally owns you. And so you have to retreat. And Jaina Proudmoore, very prominent figure in World of Warcraft history, has an idea to go back to her home country, a continent of Kol Tiras, and get her mother involved and get her ships and her navy. They're a very heavy naval nation to bring back up. You get there, and Now
That's also
I'm
been
not
burnt
too
down.
I'm not too well versed in the WoW like a lot of the WoW lore, the background shit that's been going on throughout, like the quests that kind of weave under the big picture. I'm mostly the bigger picture guy, but like her mother disowned her. She did stuff that like betrayed her people, and her mother's being manipulated and all this stuff. So long story short, the Alliance's questing and story goes through the 3 zones of Stormsong Valley, Drustvar. I just fucking played it today. Drustvar and Tiergard Sound. And your whole goal is to unite the 3 houses of Kul Tiras, which is very Game of Thronesy. Yeah. And it's very cool. And it's very grounded, and it's not like, oh, big bad legions here. It's more like, oh, we need forces because we're desperate. Horde side, 3 entirely different zones to play through. Again, first time I've done this in expansion history on Zoldazar, which they're beautiful zones. So the way it works, the reason I know they're beautiful zones is because there's a war going on in the background of all this. So in addition to you doing your alliance story and trying to get troops and back up and trying to fix Kul Tiras and help it and get your mother back on Jaina's side and all that stuff, you have this thing called the war campaign in addition to war mode. So they took out PvP servers and world PvP servers and made a thing called war mode, which is something where you go to Stormwind City or Orgrimmar or whatever faction you're on, and when you turn war mode on, you are now flagged for PvP no matter where you go. And that makes it so that you could engage in that if you want to. So you could play it, say, on a, before if your friend's on a PvP server, but you don't want to play on a PvP server because you hate getting ganked because it's fucking annoying.
That's great.
You could play on the same server as your buddy now, but now you could turn that PvP shit off. So that way when you're leveling,
oh my god, that's so good.
But they've incentivized having it on. When you have it on, you get more rewards for doing quests and for stuff like that. Okay. So it's a risk-reward system of like, oh, I want to put this on so I can get 10% more experience and like better rewards from world quests.
Can I just
might get.
That would have been a godsend when I was like level 3 and there were just like Alliance guys flying over me and one-shotting me on their stupid old mounts.
It's a really great system because go ahead, Karas.
Sorry, I was going to ask a noob question. So if you're in different zones now and you used to be in the same zones before, were the stories the same before, or were they still different stories but in the same place?
So the way it would ultimately work is like, I'm just going to use like a Burning Crusade perspective, the first expansion pack. So you'd start in Hellfire Peninsula as the Alliance. You'd have your own quest hub there with Alliance. You have like your own you have different quest lines, like different individual storylines for your faction, but you're all ultimately working towards that same final like raid, like in the same zone, experiencing the same dungeons. Because in this case, the Horde Alliance have entirely different dungeons while leveling up. Like they're not doing the same thing. You don't get access to the Horde dungeons until you hit cap. Whereas in Burning Crusade, you'd level up, and everyone would do Hellfire Ramparts at level 61. Yeah. Everybody would do fucking Coil Fang, whatever the Zangarbar standards were. Yeah. So everyone would have to kind of have the same story beats and experiences going through the zones.
So if I was to say that, I know it's not the same, but like if it's like playing Skyrim and you're either playing with the Stormcloaks and the Legion, and towards the end they're both like, we need to deal with this dragon. Is that sort of what it is?
Yeah. Honestly, that's not a bad way to look at it. In terms of like trying to make it so you understand. Yeah, like that's not a like how it used to be. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like you'd all be on Hellfire Peninsula doing the quests, and be involved kind of in the same zone story. Whereas now the Horde and Alliance, their zones have entirely different dungeons, different stories, different NPCs, different things they're seeing, all the way up to 120. But what makes it cool is, like, initially I saw that and I thought, so usually you'd get like 6 new zones in expansion pack and you'd see them all. I feel like, am I getting ripped off? Like,
do you have half as much content as you would normally?
If I'm playing Alliance, so I only get these 3 zones, like that doesn't feel right. But what they've done is, in addition to the war mode stuff, which is the turn PvP on and off stuff, you have the war campaign storyline. And so the way this works is you unlock this maybe a little bit into into the 110s. You go on these missions and do quests in those Horde zones, or conversely on those Alliance zones if you're playing Horde, so that you can set up bases of operation in enemy territory. So you aren't doing those zone storylines, but you are going to those Horde zones, getting quests, getting flight paths, getting camps unlocked, and seeing the entire zone, but from an Alliance perspective of setting up bases of operations. So you're still doing quests in every single zone. You just aren't experiencing the Horde storyline. So usually every zone in previous expansions would have a big boss and storyline associated with them. So like, Hellfire Peninsula typically ended with like Hellfire Ramparts, and you'd see the big final boss of that zone and move on to Zangarmarsh. And the Horde and Alliance would see that. Whereas now there are characters in this game that I'm 120 on the Alliance. I've done all the Alliance story stuff. I have not met, like, I have half the picture. So, and what's interesting about that, and I'm really intrigued to do the Horde stuff, because after Sylvanas burns Darnassus, after Sylvanas does all these horrible things, I am really curious what the Horde storyline is like. And I hear great things about it from Horde players, that they've introduced a cool character on the Horde side who people fucking adore.
Is he the no shoulder guy?
No, he's a troll. He's like a weird troll guy who, like, when you die in those Horde zones, apparently he's the one who resurrects you and not like the spirit angel thing. So I'm really curious how the Horde story is, and it makes me really want to get into it, but it's going to have to wait. But
that's tiny.
But other than that,
half, though.
I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to go. Something smells like it's on fire.
I hope nothing is. Hopefully Sylvanas
I think it's a barbecue, but I'm going to double check.
Yeah. Hopefully your place
Kinross's house is set on fire.
Yeah. Well, when we see Sylvanas show up on the camera, then battle for Kinross.
So you've been enjoying it then?
Yeah, I've been loving it a lot. It's always fun. I think Blizzard has kind of nailed the leveling experience at this point. So starting back in Warlords, they've implemented like these rare world boss type monsters and like these treasure caches that spawn on the map, and those all show up on your mini map. So when you're questing, you'll see a gold star and you'll know that there's a boss over there, and they have so many of those per zone, and it brings you to areas of each zone that you don't normally get to go to, or normally wouldn't go to, because you're just kind of beelining from quest to quest to quest to quest. So they've kind of improved like the leveling process in that way. It makes it very fun. Because killing those world bosses can get you rare loot, it can get you Azerite power, it can get you war resources. They're worth doing, and it adds another element to the leveling process, as well as like optional objectives in different areas and stuff. So I've been enjoying their leveling process for 3 expansions now, even though Warlords was kind of poopy after the fact. But they've nailed that down, and they just kind of keep refining on improvements. So they got rid of that artifact weapon system that I mentioned earlier. So now you can get weapons again, which makes me happy.
I think the artifact weapons sounded... Oh my god, I can't talk. Sounded kind of cool.
They were awesome. They were for sure really, really cool.
Because one thing that pisses me off with like loot games in general is you get this like really cool weapon and you're like really excited, and then you'll do another quest and you'll get a weapon that's better, and you'll be like, well, I guess I didn't need that last one, so... That just sounds
it was
cool.
A really cool, consistent way to tie yourself to your class, and that was one of the things I think Legion did so well, and why I think Legion is one of the best expansions the game's ever had, especially so late in its life. Like, a lot of people want to shit on WoW nowadays, or say, oh, it's too easy now, you don't have to talk to anybody, but like, I think if people sat down and played Legion, like, Legion was very fucking good. Because it brought back that identity with your class. So I think it's very deliberate what Blizzard's doing. Like, last expansion, it was like, oh, we're bringing back class quest lines. Like, back in the day, as a warrior, at level 30, I had a quest that let me get the Whirlwind Axe or the Whirlwind Sword. Paladins had their quests to get their level 20 hammer and their horse. And, like, Warlocks, same thing. Like, all these different things that, like, oh, your class gets to do that? What? But, ever since vanilla ended, like, classes kind of lost that identity.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say I never experienced that when I was playing Cataclysm.
That stuff went away. And now I think what they did is they got rid of that. And those class halls still exist, and those quests still exist. Like, all that content's not obsolete. You can still get skins. Like, you can still get your artifact weapon and transmog it and make your weapon look like it. So like all those skins and all those unlockables are still there.
Okay.
But I think what they did was like, okay, in Legion, let's bring back class identity. In Battle for Azeroth, now that we've done that and accomplished that, let's bring back the identity of this game and what it was founded on, and that was Horde versus Alliance. And it's been a really nice transition into that. And getting rid of the artifact weapons, they haven't totally gotten rid of that system though. Now, instead of having a weapon that you have permanently, you have a necklace called the Heart of Azeroth, and you power that up with Azerite, which is this new like material that was discovered like under Azeroth's surface, and that's kind of what the Horde and Alliance are fighting over. Like that was discovered, and they were meeting to talk about what to do about that. And Sylvanas got suspicious of the Alliance's advance there and thought they were spying. And Sylvanas kind of was like, you know what, fuck you guys. You know, why can't we just talk? I can't trust you. And really, the Alliance wasn't really doing anything bad, but they didn't need to bring a spy. It was kind of pointless because it fucked everything up in retrospect. And so you get this Azerite power, and you level this necklace up. And that necklace stays with you for the entire expansion. And what that allows you to do then is they introduced a new type of armor piece for your head, shoulders, and chest. Yeah. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Called Azerite armor. And the way this will work is the higher level that your necklace gets from the Azerite power, the more traits you'll unlock on this Azerite armor. So if you get a pair of Azerite shoulders, you shift right-click those. They have a bunch of talents you could pick from, kind of like the artifact weapon, where like, I want to pick this perk or that perk. And so now you have a thing of, okay, this boss drops shoulders that have these talents on them. I want to do that dungeon and try to get those shoulders because they have a really useful talent for me. And it adds a whole new element of gear grinding and customization to what you want to wear. Because like now, for my hunter, I have like 2 sets of Azerite armor in my bags that like if I'm doing a dungeon, I'll swap to this helmet because it has a better talent for this. And like that's another aspect of WoW that's been lost over the years, is that idea of like customizable builds. Because like it's there, the talent system is there still, but it's so cut and dry what you're picking that they've kind of lost that, like what ESO has of like, oh man, I play a Templar, but I want to use daggers and this or that. Like you could totally build around that, you know, it's no problem. Whereas WoW has always kind of been like, well, you're playing a hunter, well, I guess you're marksman for dungeons, and it's like, well, I don't want to be. But so they've like kind of added it, but you know, it's very early yet in the expansion. I can see this becoming a case of, oh, you're a hunter, you need this piece of Azerite armor, that piece of Azerite armor, and this piece of Azerite armor, or we're not taking you to the raid, because they have those talents. And there's always going to be a meta that develops, but from the outside looking in, from somebody who's not doing hardcore content, I think it's neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a really fun expansion. But dungeons have been cool. The music's fucking phenomenal. Blizzard's art team, as always, are just at the top of their game. There's unstoppable beasts over there. The zones are really great. The new Alliance and Horde got new cities for the first time in forever. Like new actual capital cities, which we had Dalaran last expansion, which Dalaran was also in a previous expansion. So I'm sick of fucking looking at Dalaran. Stop taking me to Dalaran. God's sake.
That's
but
the
they
point
finally,
of capital city.
they finally stopped that.
I'm fed up with London as the capital city. Let's make it.
I mean, in an MMO,
Derby.
like it's usually like, because like
Derby.
Burning Crusade, they had Shatrath City in Burning Crusade. I liked Shatrath City. It was cool. Then in was it Lich King that Dalaran was in, or was it Cataclysm? Well, one of those two had Dalaran as their capital city, and then Dalaran got destroyed, and then Dalaran came back. And then it's like, I don't want to be in Dalaran. I don't want to see these hordes running around. Like, I want to go to my own town, you know? A cool alliance. I want 2 big capital cities. Because they promised that then in, was it Warlords or Legion? They were piss poor. It was Warlords. They promised 2 cities, and then they scaled them back. Warlords sucked. But we finally got 2 big, actual, like, Stormwind and Ogremore-sized cities for each faction. And they are fantastic. But regrettably, I am unsubscribing from the game after all that praise.
But then if it's only been out a week, you've still got 3 weeks left of your sub.
Yeah, oh yeah, my sub's still running. I'm still going to be playing it until it runs out. It's just another thing of, I also, you know, I want to say beware to people maybe interested in getting into it. If you have other stuff you want to play, I don't think it's feasible unless you have so much time, because I'm already feeling crushed a little bit by the stuff I need to keep up with at max level. Since Legion and these new allied races they've released with this expansion, they have like 6 new races, I think. In the game. Yeah,
Spooky
my fucking
dog, Bill.
I haven't touched my fucking mouse in a while, so the screen went black.
That's why I just move it every now and again.
Yeah, I gotta remember to do that. They have introduced a lot of reputation grinding, which I just can't support in goodwill. I hate that shit. It pisses me off. So I think if I had to list some negatives, it would be like there's a really excessive amount of that, and it's soul crushing and boring, and I don't like doing it. And on top of not having enough time with all these games, I also just don't feel like doing that. So unsubbing was a little bit easier this time around, despite it being so high quality. I just can't justify the time investment. You know, it's just it's great though. If you like WoW and you're on the fence, if you've liked WoW in the past and you're on the fence, like, I think Blizzard's taking the game in a pretty nice direction. I think they're kind of 2 for 2 right now with Legion, and honestly, I think their only big miss was Warlords.
Do you think there are people who have never played WoW, played Warlords, loved it, and are now like, what the hell is this game?
You know,
Legion sucks. Battle for Azeroth sucks.
You know what?
I want my Warlords back.
I could see that. I think some people might like the Warlord story was always alternate universe shit. Like, the Warlords of Draenor zones were like Outland zones before like the Outland shit happened, which was cool to see. I could see some people liking that. I liked the leveling, but I think it was just full of too much shit to really like. But yeah, I think their only miss has been that, really. Like, I liked Cataclysm. I loved Burning Crusade.
Weren't
Lich
people
King was
off
cool.
about Pandaria?
Yeah, they're now it's an interesting thing because, like, Pandaria, I think was fantastic for a lot of reasons.
Got
Mostly
fucking pandas
content.
in it. How could you
Mostly,
hate
yeah.
Yeah, but WoW style pandas, they're all jaggy and ugly as hell.
You leave my pandas alone.
Yeah. Some
fight
of my
you.
favorite zones and dungeons and this content ideas in general were in Pandaria, and I wish they would bring some of those ideas back, because Pandaria, besides Burning Crusade, was the expansion I've played WoW the most in. I played a fuck ton of Mr. Pandaria, like obsessively, again with friends, and they haven't been able to hook me like that again. But I think that's just also because back then I had more time. You know,
Yeah.
I think Miss might have came out. I'm sorry for doing this in the middle of the show. I want to look up the release date of Miss. I want to see why I had so much time.
I think it was in 2011.
I was still in college, so yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
do
all right
much.
then. Yeah.
So yeah. Now I just don't have that time to obsess like that. But
Getting older sucks.
But yeah, World of Warcraft, good shit. Still good.
I'm so curious about the mod side of the story. I might have to look up spoilers.
Me
At
too.
some point because
I
I'm not...
really want to.
Yeah.
Really want to.
I don't.
See it.
It sort of sounds like Blizzard, like, hey, Sylvanas isn't as evil as you think. There's stuff going on, and I don't know whether
There's got to be
that's
something
like
like
end.
that going on.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know whether it's end of this bit story stuff, or like in the future there'll be an update or something where it's like, actually, yeah, Sylvanas is actually a clone. She's
the
been
cool thing about
imprisoned.
it is like this will be a story now that unfolds over 2 years, you know, and like that's always cool and fun to get invested in if you're invested in that. Now the Horde zones are beautiful, by the way. And while you were gone, I mentioned to Kid around, so each side doesn't get to see those other zones through their storyline quests, but like you have the war campaigns where you set up shop there and like you still quest in those zones, just different types of quests. The Alliance zones, they did an amazing job on both sides, so I really want to check out the storylines of the Horde zones because they are beautiful to look at. Very cool.
It makes me nostalgic for just wanting to go back, but I really shouldn't go back because I've got ESO, and that alone is taking up pretty much all of my free time. So
Just watch someone else play it.
Oh yeah, I'll watch an LP.
Yeah. Or a stream or something. An RP LP.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
Should we move on to a different game then?
Yes,
Nah.
we should. Let's see.
Okay.
We got for people listening at home, we've got a list here And it's
in an effort to trim down how much we talk about things.
Yeah, we could choose where we go from here, from a nice extensive list.
Do we go to Abby? Do we go to Bill? Do we go to me? Do we go to all of us or some of us?
Yeah, let's see. We have 2 games left on the list that we've all played.
Should we save that for a little bit later?
I if we want, I could knock off 2 of my games in like 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm timing you. Hold on, let's time you.
I have a timer right here.
I'm gonna stop you at
106.
5 minutes.
All right,
okay, all right. Yeah, all right.
All right, Tropical Freeze. Game is very hard. Donkey Kong, very cool protagonist. Very deep story.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and make it...
Very, very deep story. Very interesting character motivations. Cranky Kong has an emotional moment. The game's very hard. Did I mention
Funky.
that?
Yep.
It starts off very easy. Then it gets very hard.
I couldn't beat level 1.
Music's very nice.
Yeah.
Visuals very nice. There are levels. I don't have 2 hands. There are levels where you see the silhouette of your Kong, and it's nice. Play it if you like platformers. Don't play it if you don't like killing your controller. Good game.
Would you recommend it to either me or Bill? Me or Bill? Me or Kinross?
I bought it.
I think
I don't recommend it to me.
Tropical Freeze, I think, in all seriousness, it's one of the most like cozy and like jolly platforms I've ever played. I think, when people talk about the game's level design and music, they aren't ever exaggerating those points. David Wise's score is fucking untouchable in this game. It is so good. And there are so many ingenious levels, but because this one has funky mode. So it's a thing of like, if you want to experience those things, like they've ingeniously added funky mode so that you could play this game and not be like me and want to die for the last 2 worlds of this game.
I didn't know that was what funky mode was. I thought funky mode was a harder mode.
No, it's an easier
mode.
mode.
Funky mode is easy mode. He has a surfboard. You could like surf over spikes and shit. Like, yeah, it's worth it, I think, at that point. Yeah, ingenious thing to add. I think it's a wonderful game, though. It's just the difficulty spike is, no exaggeration, insane. Like, and the game has an obsession over the last 2 worlds with ice and water. It's like, yo, there's a whole jungle out there. The game's called Tropical Freeze, but but still,
All right.
Okay, Doom. So I started playing the first Doom. They revealed Doom Eternal at QuakeCon, and I've been wanting to check out Doom for a while.
E3.
Well, they revealed the gameplay at QuakeCon, which got everyone like super hyped, because the game looks phenomenal. So I'm like, you know what? I want to play Doom. It was on sale on Humble. I had some money on my Humble wallet. I got the game for free basically because of some monthly referrals. I jump into Doom. I am about 5 hours into Doom at the moment. I assume probably like 1/3 of the way, maybe halfway. Don't know how long the game is. Probably 10 to 15 hours. It's a shooter. Wow. I was thinking this last night while I was playing it. I'm like, I think this game might be too good. Is that a thing? Like, can a game... Like, I have nothing wrong with Doom, like, at all. Like, this game's systems feed into one another so fucking well. Like, they have perfected the run and gun feeling like a badass. Like, when you shoot enemies, they'll highlight, like, their bodies, like, glow a bit, and you can walk up and, like, press F and do a glory kill, and then that will regenerate your health. You have a chainsaw that can saw enemies up, and that will, like, they'll drop tons of ammo when you do that. So you have all these systems that allow you to just kind of keep going from enemy to enemy to enemy to enemy to enemy without going like, oh, fuck, I'm out of bullets or I'm out of health. Like, everything that you need is fed to you by killing more things. And in a game with shooting as good as Doom, like, that's ingenious. Like, there is no downtime in this game at all, ever. The music's fucking awesome. Game's great.
My problem with that I had with Doom was I suck at the shooting, and so I can't get the health back. So it was just a case of shoot a bit, and then I've got to glory kill absolutely everything. And after a while, you're just bored. But I did buy the soundtrack on vinyl. So
the music kicks ass. It amplifies a lot of the. And it gave us some really cool systems like I didn't know about. I've been doing this thing where I've been enjoying going into things like totally blind. Like even Battle for Azeroth, I didn't read or watch anything about the expansion. I knew it was coming out. I wasn't following the pre-release stuff.
30 seconds remaining.
So when I got all these systems thrown at me for the first time, it's like, wow, Doom has like upgradable weapons and these rune challenges and unlock these perks and like all these things that feed into your god. Like I didn't know all that shit was in the game either. But yeah, fantastic game. I'm looking forward to finishing it probably this week.
Have you played much of the multiplayer?
No, the multiplayer is dead on PC.
Oh, is it?
So I haven't gotten to do that yet. I haven't done the stat map stuff either yet, or the arcade mode, but I like it.
Stop. Yeah, you did it.
All right.
You spent 2 minutes 20 talking about Tropical Freeze and 2 minutes 39 talking about Doom. There's some
That's what I'm
stats
talking
for
about.
you.
That's what I'm talking about.
So yeah, that's
Knock him off the list.
That's how we should do permadeath in the future. I think we
Speed
should have a
round.
lightning
Speed
round.
round.
I was about to portmanteau speed and permadeath. It doesn't work. Don't do it.
How do I cross something off the list?
I don't know.
Who did that? How do you do that? What am I doing?
Oh, Google Docs just going nuts.
There we go. Look at that. It's on one line. It was on one line.
Bill
there we go.
Bill.
All right. I still have
Okay.
one game of my own on the list, but I'll talk about that later.
Whose voice do you want to hear more right now? I will take it personally if you pick Kinross. No, I'm joking.
You know what,
Take it,
Kinross?
right?
I want to hear about Bad North, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll talk about Bad North and my second game because I don't have much to say about either of them.
Sure.
Oh, we're doing another lightning
It
round.
makes sense.
No.
Hey, that second game, that makes sense, man.
Yeah, it does.
Hey,
So Bad North is a game that was revealed in the surprise Nindies showcase that happened this week.
I like
There's
it.
another one happening next week, just completely out of the blue. They've at
By
least
the
told us
way-
about this one.
I think No More Heroes might be at the next one.
Yeah? Do you think that's why they've announced that it's actually going to happen?
Well, they keep announcing fucking t-shirts for Travis, so I assume the game's nearly finished. I don't know.
Fair enough. So yeah, it's a sort of cutesy little small tactics game, real-time tactics game, where you are defending an island with houses on it from hordes of Vikings that come and attack you. And when you defeat all the waves, every house that's saved, depending on the size of it, gives you upgrade coins, and you assign upgrade coins to each of your commanders. First time round, I didn't realize I couldn't work out how to upgrade my dudes. So there comes a point where the Vikings have upgraded their weapons, and so you need to use different things to actually deal with them. And I didn't know how, so I got massacred. And I also cocked up placing them on the island in the pre-game thing. You choose which commanders you want to take, and I managed to make it so that I was trying to fight 5 waves of tough dudes with just one group of people rather than 2 because I cocked that up. So it's a weird game in that it explains how to play in the actual game. Does that make sense? It explains how to fight, explains how to move and rotate the camera, all that lot. But anything outside of that island, in terms of upgrades or the pre-match stuff, it doesn't explain to you at all. So it was a little bit of faffing about trying to work it out. It is your commanders. If your unit dies, it's gone forever. And so it does have that sort of, if all your people die, you restart your campaign, you start over. So I don't actually know how long the game actually is because I've not beaten it yet. But there is that sort of replay element because I don't know whether the maps are randomly generated or there is just a massive pool of islands that it sort of pulls from in each campaign. So it is sort of like a random roguelite-y type element to that. I am enjoying it a great deal. I am playing it on normal. I know that hard is a lot harder.
Is there an easy difficulty?
There is a normal difficulty. Apparently, I did watch, because I was trying to work out how to upgrade my dudes, and the guy had been playing a hard run and was now playing a normal run. He's like, man, you get so many more coins in normal mode. So I think that's where like the easier element comes, because you're able to upgrade your guys faster.
So it's not like the AI is dumber.
No. I think that there might be slightly fewer enemies per wave.
Right.
I think that they like. Obviously, it eases you in, and then it sort of starts to ramp up. I think it ramps up faster in hard mode, and you are also getting fewer coins. So I think it's sort of like a mix between those two things. Because I don't know how long the game is, or actually how much replayability there is. It is fairly expensive. I think it's £13. Is it 13? Sounds about right.
Sure.
I don't begrudge paying for it, because one, it's beautiful, and two, I'm enjoying it, but I can see some people being sort of more on the fence about it. I thought that it was going to be about £8-9.
The game looks awesome.
It does.
I was looking at screenshots and shit while you're talking about it. Immediately, its art style is very appealing.
Yeah.
I think Evie would enjoy it from like a Fire Emblem sort of perspective. It is kind of like that.
I would wait for it to be on sale though, because it's still like too expensive for me right
or
now.
for you to get like a crap ton of Nintendo points.
Or that, yeah. Which
I love those points. Sorry.
They are good. It has touchscreen controls and Joy-Con controls. The Joy-Con controls are a little bit fiddly. I can't find like a sensitivity slider. So I've only just played around with the touchscreen things. I think it's slightly better.
I've been feeling that way.
You actually got the hang of it.
I've been feeling that way with Fallout Shelter, because that's one thing I've been playing that I don't really need to talk about. But you try playing that with Joy-Cons, and it's just like flipping you about all over the screen, and you don't really know where you are.
Apparently, there's something when the game is docked. Apparently, there's something that's not apparent. I'm looking at like a tweet from the dev here. There's apparently something like upgrading your commander apparently isn't as readily apparent if you're not playing in handheld mode.
That was the thing that I was confused by. So you have your campaign map, and then you've got at the bottom there's a bar of commanders. I don't know whether you can see that in the screenshots. And to upgrade your commanders, if you've got like an island here and an island here, you've got to sort of scroll down through all the maps and things until you hit the bottom, and then it pops up with your upgrade system. So if you're playing in docked mode, which I was because I was recording it, there is no indication that is what you're supposed to do.
I would have thought that would have been the other way around.
What do you mean?
Like, you see less stuff when you're in handheld mode rather than...
right, yeah. So that took me about 10 minutes to try and work out, and it was pretty frustrating at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'd say that if you are listening to this and you want to pick it up, you are now in a better position than I was. You know how to upgrade your dudes. And it's very important. I would probably recommend picking it up, maybe using Nintendo points, or if it was on sale. But I think it's still probably...
See, it caught my eye immediately in that. Like, there weren't a lot of things I was particularly excited for in that showcase. It was like, Children of Morta's come into Switch, so I guess I'll just buy that on Switch rather than on PC.
Yeah.
I
think Bad North is also on PC.
Pretty, so.
Yeah, right now, interestingly enough, Bad North has a 90-day exclusivity on the Discord store, apparently. That's going to be the case on PC.
Okay.
It's going to be one of their first, like, Nitro things.
Okay, I didn't realize that was even a thing.
So Steam developed Discord type stuff, and now Discord is developing Steam type stuff.
And it'll apparently have like free games like Twitch Prime and monthly has, which I'm interested in. I've gotten so many games from Twitch Prime that, like, if Nitro is good, and there's good stuff on there, I'd consider it if it was like $5 a month. But
especially, I'd consider it more than like Twitch Prime. I'll still claim the stuff, but the fact that I have to use a different launcher pisses me off. If the Discord games is within the Discord app anyway, I have that open all the time. It would be no issue to me to have like a games tab. So, yeah, Bad North.
Cool, man.
It's fun. It's
cool.
not that bad.
What about Minute?
Minute is a game that you play 60 seconds. I want to hear about this one. Don't time it, please. Minute is a game that you play 60 seconds at a time. You're playing as a dude. You're trying to sort of travel around the world and basically reach the end. I assume that there's a final boss or something. It's so you base each day is you leave your house, you try and find an item or solve a puzzle or something using the stuff that you found the previous couple of days, and you're traveling around the world solving people's problems. And as you explore the world, you find more home bases, which is where you start your day from. So it's not like you're having to constantly cross from one side of the planet to the other. You find like a little campsite or another little house, and just sort of try and help people and solve problems. Some of the problems can be quite weird to work out, or I didn't realize until a few days in that there is actually a countdown timer in the corner counting down, and there's a character who gives you some information, but he talks super slowly about something not very
I've seen that one
relevant.
before, yeah.
And then actually,
really funny.
I'll tell you about some treasure that's, and he'll give you like directions to a treasure, and you're like, if you rush all the way there, I think he finishes talking with about 10 seconds to spare. So it can get pretty intense, particularly if you're also having boss battles and things. Or trying to solve mazes. So it is sort of very much wash, rinse, repeat until you basically get better at it. I know that people have done like a 20-minute speed run. So I'm not that good. I am at a point where I am stuck. I did have to use a walkthrough for one puzzle because it had Pokemon-style teleportation pads, and it was like telling me that the east light, the south light, and the west light weren't working. So I had to reset them. So I went right for east, and I thought that it was referring to lights in all the lights were in that section. So I'm trying to work out how to go south and west in there, but that's not the case. So if you do play it, don't spend like 6 days trapped in there. You don't need to.
Playing on Switch, Gunnars?
Yes. I put it on a credit card that had a very specific amount of money, and I had exactly the right number of points to reduce it to the price that I could pay for it.
Hey.
So
how much was it?
I paid £8.21, so I think it was $8.99 or something. Yeah, it's a nice little spend some time with kind of game.
Cool.
Cool, man. Both those games I want to get. Yeah, how do you do that?
You select it, and then you go format, text, strike through. Or you just write the word cross.
Oh my god.
Sorry. Abby, how's that there Walking Dead?
Okay. Bill.
Yes.
You need to play The Walking Dead. For real.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
Even if it's just to play this first episode of the final season. So I have played all of the final... I can't talk today. I've played all of the Telltale Walking Dead games up until this point, aside from the Michonne spin-off. I don't know why. I own it, I just haven't played it. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. I think it's because you watched some... There wasn't much in the way of like choice. I
don't know. But for me, it's been like a really long time coming for this final part. I love The Walking Dead. I love the comics. I love the games. I used to love the TV show before it shat itself, but discussion for another day. So it's been, for me...
3 out of 4 ain't bad.
For me, it's been like a really long road to get to the final episode, and I was not planning on buying this now, because what I usually do is I wait for the whole series to finish, and then I buy it, and then I play it, because I'm not good at the cliffhanger thing. But I figured since this is the final season, I should probably at least give that a go at one point, of playing it when it's relevant to everyone.
Also spoilers.
Also spoilers, because I care very greatly about the story that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, it's been however many years of build-up to the end of it. And this episode that I played is my favourite episode of the entire series. It's absolutely amazing.
Wow.
And I was not expecting much from it, because The New Frontier, although I enjoyed it, kind of was a bit... didn't really know what it was doing. Like, it had a different protagonist, and he doesn't seem like he's in the final season at all, and I don't know why.
Was that the super crappy one, or was that 400 Days?
400 Days was just fucking pointless. Like,
Okay.
because 400 Days was the bridge between season 1 and season 2, and it was saying, like, oh, this playing 400 Days will have an impact on what happens in season 2 for you, and it literally, there are 5 characters. There's Bonnie, who will always go with them at the end. And then there's like 4 other characters, and they just make cameo appearances in season 2 if you get them recruited into this like other place.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I saw that guy. Like, I don't know. But like season 1, season 2, I would highly recommend. I think you need to play A New Frontier to get some context for what's gonna happen in the final season. But you should play them, Bill. even if it's just for playing this episode, because Ray Chase is in this episode. We all know Ray Chase here. Personally, we're all friends. So
That's the most famous line.
We're such good friends, we call him Ray.
Yeah, so Mr. Ray, I think this, like, he has a character that he plays in this. He has a role that he plays in this, rather.
Is he a zombie?
No. And I think that's his best role so far. Like, I think it's better than Noct. I think it's better than Roy. I think it's better than the audiobook of Blood, Sweat, and
Pixels.
I think he does like such a great job of making this character just likable and believable and stuff. So I would recommend this, especially if you like the first 3 seasons. Bill, please in our off time, just think, we could be recording Permadeath now. I'll play some Walking Dead.
Would you say that the Walking Dead Telltale series as a whole is better than the television show in terms of capturing Robert Kirkman's world?
Yes, but I would only say that based on the last like 2 seasons of the TV show.
Because I am not.
I feel like the art style probably helps.
I am not I haven't read the comics. I've been watching Walking Dead since the beginning of its run on TV. It's had its highs. It's had its deep lows.
Yes.
And I want to feel optimistic about something Walking Dead. And I can read the comic. I probably feel optimistic about that.
Don't read the comics. It's just too much of a time investment. It's like, do you want to play World of Warcraft or read comic books? Like...
Yeah.
That and money.
So, you know, I have season 1 of Walking Dead on Steam. Something I've been wanting. Apparently, I have 2 hours played of it on Steam. I don't know when I did that.
Probably played episode 1 then.
You should probably start again if you don't remember what happens.
Oh yeah, I would for sure. It's one of those things I feel bad for not getting into and staying current with. But I would like to.
I think for you especially, you would get a lot out of it because you already know a fair amount about the world of The Walking Dead. It's not at all related to the TV show or the comic books.
Yeah.
Like 2 characters I think make cameo appearances. And you're like,
Isn't
oh,
Herschel
it's
isn't
Glenn.
Herschel in episode 1?
Herschel's in episode 1 and
Of season
Glenn's
1?
in episode 2, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And then you got Michonne.
And then you got the Michonne episode, which isn't necessary to play if you don't want to. I haven't played it.
I think
Forget
it's just
400 days. Honestly, just forget 400 days. That don't exist.
I think Michonne is like stuff that happens before she meets up with Rick and that lot.
Probably.
I think that's what that is.
I've seen bits and
Pretty
pieces
cool.
of that game being played, and it's just I bought it, but never been
So-
that bothered.
So it's The Walking Dead season 2, and then season 3 is A New Frontier.
And then the final
Okay.
season is this one. I just think it's worth playing all of the first 3 seasons to get to.
Oh
this
yeah,
point.
I wouldn't skip like any of them, especially since it's still Clementine technically in A New Frontier, right? She's just not the main character.
She's
in that
not.
one.
No, she's not the main character, but she's still there.
Okay, yeah. So I would definitely play that before I play this one.
Yeah, there's
For sure.
some. I don't know. There's some weird choices that you can make in those games, and you figure out eventually. Like most games that are very choice based, your choices don't really have that much of a consequence. So
That's
It's like who dies in this specific moment, and then the other person
Yeah.
will still die.
I mean,
right, so
I've
they have
played-
these characters that are called like determined characters. So, for
that new?
example,
to this one.
no, it's just in all of the seasons. So
Oh, okay.
if there's like a choice between 2 characters, like you can only save one, and you pick one of the other characters, it means that it's determinant that the other one dies. So, in all situations, both of those characters are going to end up dead. Doesn't matter who you
It's just
pick;
how they end up
they'll
dead.
just die later on. And that the only time that's not happened is with one character. And he's just like living in a city somewhere now. Don't really know what happened to him because they've not made mention of him since. So they didn't really have to write too far around that one, I guess. But
It's weird that they were like. I would have thought that if they'd done it properly with one of them, that they would have actually made more of a deal of it. It's like, you thought that this is how it works, but no.
no, they don't really make a big deal about it. I killed him, so.
So he's still pretty much dead, but he's just somewhere
He's
else.
like Schrodinger's survivor. I don't know,
Yeah.
because he's just in this like state of you don't know.
Probably died.
Like
from
you figure that out really, really quickly though.
Yeah.
Because if the game wants a character to not die, it doesn't matter what you pick in that situation. That character doesn't die. But if you actually have like choice and agency over the situation,
So, are there actually... I'm sure that I've asked this before. Are there actually choices that do make a difference to stuff? Or is it all, like, that straight facade that I hate about choice-based games?
it all ends up at the same place though. Like,
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of like a
Like,
choice
do you-
that had weight, but it all ends up with Clementine being at the place that she's at now. So no, I guess.
So it's not like there is anyone or anything that would be radically different in your game in the final season compared to Bill's if he was to have done different stuff.
No, but apparently people can see that like they could in the final season make choice actually matter, and it could mean that because saves carry over from one game to another, it could mean that a choice you made in season 1 has an impact on the end. Like we don't know for sure, so just wait and see, I guess, because it does at the beginning of season, like the final season, if you just want to go into that and you don't have any like spare save files lying around on your computer, it does a rundown of the important choices and it lets you pick like which ones you would have chosen in that situation. I guess they're not necessarily important choices, but they're important choices in the story of Clementine and how she is now. So yeah, I really loved the first episode. It was well good. Best episode of The Walking Dead so far.
Good to hear.
So Bill,
Telltale still got it.
you gotta play it. Gotta play it. Especially since,
my
you know,
word.
it's all going down on the TV show. You gotta enjoy something.
You have my word. Yeah. I have no clue what's gonna happen to that thing. But
Oh, and we've got the
you have my word.
Overkill Walking Dead game coming out later this year
yeah.
as well, so
Left 4 Dead like action going on there.
which I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah. Lots of
Hey,
potential.
remember that time we were
Overkill-
going to play Left 4 Dead with Bill?
That was a good time.
I know. I mean, I know that there were reasons why you didn't, but yeah.
Those were good times. Oh, anyway, we all have been playing Octopath Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
I say that. Have we still been playing Octopath Traveler?
I got to Primrose Chapter 2 and I haven't played since.
I have 2 people still left to pick up, and then life does that thing where it gets in the way, and I've been playing. Like, Octopath feels like you can't play it in like particularly short bursts. It is like there are beats, and the beats aren't too long, but if I'm like, I feel like playing something for like 20 minutes, I can't really say for sure that Octopath isn't going to take 20 minutes of my time just to read through some story stuff. So I've sort of put it on hold for a bit. But here,
I really like this game. I think it's really great. I think the music's really fantastic. The art style obviously goes without saying. I think it's a really neat idea. The very Canterbury Tale type. These separate people, not even so much their paths cross so much as they are just kind of going in the same places, so they just kind of join together and travel together in this world. And
I would genuinely like to see if like there is a central story part.
As far as I know, there is not.
If it's all just like
let's just travel together.
Like, it's like
there
D&D.
Maybe light spoilers for the content of this game, but there is like a post game dungeon that apparently like does have a central plot that the party tackles together, but it is not required and it is not part of their individual tales. So I do think the game kind of stays its course with these characters have their very own stuff, which I think is neat and interesting and different thing to do, instead of having it be like, oh, the big bad guy got the machine again and he's gonna turn everybody into dust, and you got to rise up and fight them as they drop Magitech people on you and all this stuff. Instead, you have very contained stories amongst them, which I think is cool. And I think I saw a lot of people complaining that they don't talk to each other much, but you do get the little skits and banter in chapters between them.
Press Y to banter.
Yeah, and you do get interactions between them. It's maybe not traditional cutscene interactions between them, but
I think that's probably like my biggest complaint is that it does sort of feel like you are playing 8 separate stories and they're not really related. It's like, why is Alfin traveling with Tressa?
Because he's such a good boy.
Yeah, he is a good boy. That was a bad example, but like, why are Primrose and Trissa traveling together? It's like they just happen to be in the same place and they're going to the same. Like,
I imagine it's partly because of the way that the game is structured that happens, though. Yeah. Like, I know that's why it happens,
because you could potentially really do these chapters without having some of these characters. So I think it's one of those things that they could fix in a sequel of like, okay, we made this game and we had these 8 separate stories, but there's never really any meaningful interaction between these characters in any of these story beats. Like, Primrose was going through this horrible thing, or whoever's going through this horrible thing, and you have these characters who are like, oh man, this would be a really great situation for what's his face to step up, but he doesn't, and it's like feels weird, and I think it's something they can potentially improve upon because this series isn't going away. Square will, whether it's Octopath Traveler 2 or whether it's something
Dodecapath.
yeah.
What you do is you because there's that old guy NPC who absolutely kicks ass if you recruit him, who used to travel with 7 other dudes. You get those 8 dudes, our 8 dudes. It would be Hexdecapath.
Traveling.
Speaking of like recruiting, go ahead, Abby, you first. Sorry.
One thing that really pisses me off about this game is that Traveler is spelt wrong in the European version of it.
Yes. Although apparently 1L isn't accepted.
It doesn't look right to me.
European one, but yeah, it does look wrong.
Because usually in the UK we spell Traveller with 2 L's.
Yeah.
And it says on the box just with 1 L, and it pisses me off.
Oh yeah, you guys have the American way.
Yep. Yeah, we sure do. Thanks, America.
There's a reason why the Nintendo Switch box art subreddit had a brief stint of making European-friendly spines.
Oh.
One of the things I really like about the game are those like shit, the fuck are they called?
Battles.
Combat's really good, but not that. Those actions, what are they called?
Like the
path actions.
Everyone's the
path whatever's is
it path
actions? Path actions. Yeah,
where you have like a little thing that your character does.
Those
you
are
can
really
either kidnap
fun.
people, you can talk to, you can like inquire, or bloody threaten them for information, or just duel them.
Or you can steal from them. You can pickpocket them.
Buy stuff from. Like, it's really cool that like, this NPC has a really cool piece of jewelry, but the odds of stealing it are so low. But let me switch Tressa into my party, and I could buy it off of them instead. Like really, it makes exploring towns fun for me to go through, and even using Alphen wow.
It's been a while.
Weeks. What's his name? The other guy, Mage Boy.
Oh my god.
Shit. Fuck.
I'm gonna get the box really quick. Hold on.
Cyrus.
Cyrus. Yeah. Getting him to like even like they've even like written little blurbs about like every NPC in town and like their little backstory and why they might have an item on them or something. Like stuff like that's really fun and a really fun way to add immersion to exploring the towns and stuff. My only thing with the game, and I think the reason why I haven't played it in a bit, but I mean this is a very common occurrence with JRPGs with me in general, is I will play them for 25-30 hours and then never play them again.
Mm-hmm.
Persona was the outlier. There is a fair bit of grind in this game that kind of takes the wind out of my sails a tad. It's mostly when it comes to like, I want to do chapter 2 of this person's story, but like it's level 27. What? Like I'm only level 21. I'm gonna get my ass kicked, and there's no XP sharing amongst stowed party members. So like, depending on if I want to swap party members out for this or that, I don't have the ability to like stack jobs yet, which I really want, because then I can let like Alphen be his medicine boy, but then also have him have the same abilities that the fucking thief boy. What the hell's his name? What's the thief boy's name?
Therium.
Yeah. Like have the same abilities he has and stuff like that, but he still keeps his medicine boy stuff. So like, I want that, so that way like I could just kind of have a set party and not have to go, I sometimes want so and so because they have ability to use dark, or this Alphen I kind of can't take Alphen out because he has the ability of every element with his medicine. So it's like, so I have to grind, keep my party members kind of topped off. And it's kind of killed my desire to want to move on right now, just because like I grinded a lot to catch up to Primrose's chapter 2, and my Cyrus, my main guy in my party, is like level 31 from all that grinding because I had to get everybody else up because you have one character who stays with you the whole time. But everyone else is like, God, fuck, I don't feel like doing that. It kind of bums me out. And I love the combat. Like, it's not boring to grind. It's just, I kind of wish it had the fast forward thing.
Yeah, it has the same issue that any sort of grindy JRPG has, is that the random encounters can be very, very frequent, which is fine if you want to grind. If you don't want to grind, it's a pain in the ass. And running increases the chances of a random encounter.
What happened when we were playing the demo, I was playing it at Cam's and I was like, I really want to try and get like 4 party members before the demo time runs out. Yeah. So I had to run because I was really running out of time. That increased the likelihood of like encounters. And if you
which take more time.
Yeah, if you fuck up running away from an encounter through no fault of your own, just because it's a JRPG, it's random, you lose all 4 of your turns because all of your characters just trip over and can't do anything else. So that kind of sucks. But to be fair, to the credit of the game, it does say on the back that it has 8 individual stories. So it says 8 heroes, 8 stories, 1 adventure.
I think it's that one adventure that makes it sound like there is something more to it. I will say also, just the stupidest little thing to please me, that every character's name, the first letter spells out Octopath.
Yeah.
Pretty sneaky.
One thing I
So the sequel, they're all gonna spell Traveller.
This game's just called Octopath Traveler.
The one thing that I don't like about one of the characters who I thought I would really like is the way that they fucking speak. As example, in our
what
Permadeath
doeth you
chat.
meaneth? Ebieth.
Yeah, Bill changed the name of the Permadeath chat to the Permadeatheth chat.
What the fuck, Square? You know, I was reading a thread on Reset Era about this character and how if you literally translate the Japanese, they don't have her talking like this. This was on the localization team who did this. The people in her village apparently are like very casual in the way that they speak to one another in Japanese. Now, obviously, there's no way in Japanese to do something like this. But for some reason, the people who localized the game decided, oh, let's just make everyone from this village just really into Shakespeare, and like.
It upsets me because she should be the character that I'm like, yes.
And she kicks ass.
And she's
too.
cool, but she's like, oh.
No, she kicketh.
She kicketh ass. Like, they changed the word do to like doen. Like, no one does that. Shakespeare didn't do that. It's just
Surely
so stupid.
Surely do goes to dost. Dost
I
thou.
don't know. There's like a doing US.
Yeah, I know that there is a doing and a doeth, but I thought it was dost.
I saw an example of
It's just
something
God.
on Twitter. Let me just find it really quick because she speaks like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Pisses me off.
It's nice though that it annoys the American as well.
Yeah, well, it's so.
Okay.
I think it should annoy everybody because it's just so overdone.
I wonder what it's like in
here-
French or German or whatever.
Here's an excerpt of what she says.
From Hannett.
Well, no, this isn't what she says. Hunter says this. I don't know who that is, but...
Oh.
Shouldest thou then inclined to doing the same, bewaring, hunting half-heartedly, and thou wilt becoming the hunted.
Imagine reading that script out loud when you're dubbing it. Like, you just look back at the glass and go, "What the fuck did I just read? Like, what did
the
I?"
voice acting is really good as well.
I
Oh,
genuinely
yeah.
thought
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Ray Chase was in it, to bring up our mate
Yeah.
Ray again.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought he voiced
That's
Therian.
Ray.
I don't think he does.
Thanks for supporting the show, Ray.
Yeah.
No problem.
But yeah, you know, it's a game I want to get back to, but it's
Yeah.
one of those things where I also feel like I've played it enough to like, oh, I liked that game.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that is fine as well to just reach a
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Where, like, you know,
I did that with
Rather than your
Assassin's Creed Origins. I was
rather
like,
than your
this
Andromeda
was cool.
scenario where it's like I've played so much of this game and I actually don't like it.
I wanted the head
Yeah.
desk, man. That poo baby. Yeah, I did that with Assassin's Creed. I was like, you know what? I played enough of this. I think I've seen everything the game has. So I'm out. See ya.
maybe you'll go
Bye.
back to it at some point. Maybe
I
you'll just
did
get
just
the urge.
reinstall Assassin's Creed. Like same
Yeah.
urge I have for Assassin's Creed. I'll have for Octopath. It's really hard to
Assassin's Creed next
justify. It's really hard to justify 80-hour games right now. It's just tough,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
The same reason I'm not playing WoW. It's like
Yeah, that's
there's
definitely a
got
problem.
Shit coming out
Because
you
there's
know?
so much stuff coming out, and it's like I want to play all of these games, but
Games
I
are
have
too
to
long.
invest 100 hours into this one to finish it. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping
And
that the thing that I want more than anything next year are shorter experiences. I can't
for
deal
sure.
with these like really long RPGs
Because
anymore.
even
I know
even amongst the
I've just
stuff-
bought I've just bought Shenmue 1 and 2 and Yakuza
both-
Kiwami comes out next week.
Yeah,
so-
And you
both
still have to
Shenmue
finish
games
God
are
of
like
War.
20 hours.
And I've still
yeah,
gotta
God of
finish
War is
God
like
of
a
War.
30-hour game. So yeah, it's and it's funny because like I'm like, oh man, I don't have time for all these long games, but like yeah, you said Kiwami 2 comes out in a few days. That is a very long game. I have Spider-Man coming out, a very long game, open world, lots of shit to do.
I mean,
And I have Red Dead
fortunately,
coming out, very
Smash
long game.
is a very short game, but it'll still take all of your
Smash,
time.
Smash is the savior, I think, in terms of length. It's this bite size. Let's get in there and fuck shit up.
Yeah, that's what I want.
for 600 hours.
Genuinely, I've just been like, give me more games, but give me shorter games. Because I want to
Yeah.
experience, like, loads of different things,
sure.
but it's like, oh, I've got Octopath Traveler for the next 700
You know,
hours of my life.
I used to be all about, like, oh, how much content does it have? You know, how long is this game? As I've gotten older and, like, time is less and less, it's like, you know, give me a game that's 8 hours long. Maybe the Order 1886 had the right idea.
Yeah, maybe.
Portal had a good idea. Portal was good. Portal 2,
Make
6
them
hours.
make them a bit cheaper. Say
Yes,
that they're not
yes.
30 hours long. And just, I miss being able to be like, oh, let's play Star Fox Adventures. I can finish that game in like 10 hours. Or,
Speaking of games that are going to steal my time, I'm sorry, it's not on the list. I've been playing Diablo on the Xbox about 2 weeks before they announced it for the Switch. That is going to steal my life. I played it on the PlayStation. I beat it.
I can't
and I was
wait
like,
for that on the Switch.
I still played another 30 hours afterwards. I'm like, Jesus.
I love that
Christ.
game to death. That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I really can't wait for that.
I'm actually on the fence as to whether I keep playing the Xbox One, or stop.
I mean,
I guess I could keep playing through because I'm playing as a
play a different
necromancer
class.
and a wizard. Yeah, I'll play witch doctor or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's a lot of fun variations amongst playing different classes in that game. I've played through the entirety of Diablo 3 1,000 gajillion times. I mean, that's the point of it. But just playing different characters, different builds, and different seasons, and that game is phenomenal. And that's going to be.
It is definitely one I will pick up on the Switch because I want Abby to play it and see if it is her kind of thing. Because I
was reading the article about it, and they're hitting that 60 FPS too with it, so that's gonna be awesome. Yeah, that's
unlike Morphe's Law, which is 30-ish.
No, 60-ish frames per second.
60-ish.
Speaking of Morphe's Law, that game looks like a mess. It does not.
Has
look
it improved?
very good.
Do you know? Like,
what
has
bummer!
the server improved?
I have no idea. But the online servers the day it came out were just laggy. It was making
that
the
game
game
looks
look
so
really
cool.
bad. I think the game is really ugly. Personally, I don't like the art style of it all, but that's just personal preference. But
what a bummer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been fixed now, but
it might be like the
that.
sort of thing like Master Chief Collection where it had such a horrific start that even if they have like constantly patched it for like 4 years or whatever it's been, they're just not gonna give it the time.
Maybe that's the kind of game that it shouldn't have shadow dropped.
No.
Because they were just like, oh, Morphe's Law, and I was like, oh yeah, Morphe's Law, and they were like, it's out now. I'm like, okay.
Or it's out at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but yeah.
Anyway, what are we talking about next?
You've not talked about one of your own.
Me?
Oh yeah, you have. You talked about it.
I talked about The Walking Dead. Were you not here?
Son of a bitch!
Do we want to talk about Overcooked so that Bill can start downloading it?
Hell yes. You know what
Bill,
benefits
get your Switch.
You know what benefits Overcooked 2 the most is the online multiplayer.
Third person.
And also a third person because man,
Seriously.
they get really hard.
Yeah, like from level World 3 onwards, you're like, definitely need a third person for this one. But yeah, the online is amazing. We've only had like a couple of lag issues.
Yeah, I got like stuck.
In like multiple hours of gaming. It's like one level will be a bit laggy and you'll keep falling off of the world.
It's like I really enjoyed what I played of Overcooked 1, but the thing that it lacked the most was I could only play it with people in person because it had absolutely no online whatsoever. And the thing with Overcooked 2 is it's like, did you enjoy Overcooked 1? Because it's exactly the same. Like, it's just more of the same thing with different recipes and, like, it's just
different
more
maps.
worlds, basically.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you've actually played the original Overcooked, Bill.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I love it.
Well, you'll like
then,
this one too.
Yeah. Onion King, read from the Necronomicon, raised the unbread, and you're trying to save them from the unbread.
Honestly, it's probably been my favourite multiplayer experience of this year.
Yeah, it is also, for that reason alone, it might actually end up on a GOTY list for me, because it is, even though like some of the levels get incredibly frustrating, it is still always a ton of fun. Yeah. To just be like, why haven't you given me the prawns? I gave you the prawns. I threw them off the map.
Yeah.
It's...
yeah, it's just like I can play Overcooked with friends when I'm not with them anymore, and that's quite nice, because Overcooked is one of those games that I bought on Switch and I've literally never had a reason to bring it out, because I don't play locally with people, because
the other thing is,
I don't have
you
friends.
You see this thing? That's one player That's another player, local, 2-player, done.
Though you want
Yeah!
at least 3 people for the later levels. It's kind of rough.
But like to start, if you're like, hey, do you want to see what Overcooked's like? Here's let's go.
Yeah. I think the
All
Switch...
right, you know what? All right, there you go.
It.
That's 3 people.
Yeah. I think the Switch suits it quite well for that sort of like pick up and play with random people kind of game. But apparently this game's not been reviewed very well.
Yeah. I don't know whether that's just the Steam is having issues with the online or something.
I'm gonna look
maybe.
it up on Steam.
I was just looking at reviews on Steam now, and it's just people saying they don't like it. But that's Steam
for reasons
reviews,
of it
though.
being more of
You
the
know what I mean?
same, or the online being bad, or something.
It's sitting at like an 83
I am a little
on
bit sad.
Metacritic, so like critics like it.
Yeah. I am a little bit sad that I missed out on the platypus. But
I'm sorry, I would have given you the code, but
it's fine.
you gave me the code and I redeemed it already.
Yep. Which is fine. Because I thought that I might have managed to snag a second code, but it didn't work out that way. But c'est la vie. Bill, have you downloaded it yet?
I have not.
Are you going to?
Can we please play this evening?
I have a party this evening.
This Eve.
This eve.
We're never going to be able to play it.
But I am gonna get it.
You better get it. Because we desperately need a third person.
Yeah, I have stuff I need to get ready for this evening, but like when we're done here. But I am gonna get it. The only reason I'm not downloading it right now is because my internet gets finicky with the video, and I don't want to start downloading.
That's why I thought you were downloading it, because it was a little bit...
No, this Discord video just does weird shit to my internet. I don't know why.
You are gonna like it though, Bill. Forget the mixed reviews. I don't agree with them.
I
did my
don't even pay
screen just
attention
go
to
off?
those
Okay.
fuckers.
Plus you have family that you can play it with at the same time.
Yeah,
so,
I'm playing with my sister and stuff. Yeah, I don't... Reviews don't deter me if I'm buying shit. I don't care.
See Mass Effect Andromeda.
If I buy it and it sucks, I made a mistake. Yeah. I loved No Man's Sky on launch.
How dare you?
It is what it is.
No,
yeah, I am looking forward to getting it for sure.
You're gonna
Switch
enjoy
is
it.
a perfect platform for it. Yeah,
there's no
I'm really
question
excited
about it. And then we're going to play together, and it's going to be the most fun we've ever had, and then Permadeath is just going to seem obsolete anyway, so all works out pretty well.
It's now the Overcooked cast. You know?
It's just
podcast
screaming
all
at
about
each other.
Overcooked.
I'm going to have to get used to, like, saying shrimp instead of prawn, though.
No.
Why?
There's
for
2
me?
of us.
Yeah.
Whoa, Yoku's playing Overwatch.
What?
Overwatch? Yeah, boy. Sorry.
Free weekend, didn't it?
For all you Permadeath loyals out there, I was talking to Yokorama last night about Shenmue. He was asking me if he should buy the game.
And you said yes.
And of course I said yes, but I expressed a lot of caution.
Yeah, despite your caution about how they didn't have like the original audio in like a good format, I was not prepared for how Tin Can
Turn the volume of it down to 80.
Yeah, I did. I'm also in dub, which
a little more bearable.
I need some.
But yeah, it's still the like original files.
When do
from
I
the
meet Mr.
Dreamcast.
Shenmue?
He comes in between the first and second game, and he gives you your powers.
Powers, you say?
I'm making all this up.
Is there a reason why it's called Shenmue? My gameplay has literally been watch the introduction cutscene, get to the first time he can save. So all I said in the Perma chat about my opinions was that is a really crappy mirror. It's not.
And I was just like,
what
what the fuck are you talking about? Hold on, I've just kicked up my HDMI cable from my computer and I can't see anything. There we go.
Yeah,
there is indeed a reason why it's called Shenmue. Yeah.
Okay, it did that thing where it sends my mobile messages out of order.
I had no idea you were playing Shenmue, and you were like, "This is the worst mirror ever," and I was like.
And then it just straight up didn't send the message. I'm like, oh yeah, Shenmue. But, yeah, so I am intrigued to hear. I'm also playing it in 4x3, following your recommendation that some people have been having glitchy.
I didn't want to take any chances, and by not taking any chances, I haven't experienced any of the glitches people were saying they were having, the game-breaking ones with cutscenes or anything. So whether or not they would have happened, whether I was playing in 16:9 or not, I haven't had any of them. And I mean, the game was in originally 4:3. I mean, it's cool that it's in widescreen too, but it's not like I'm gimping the game in any way. It's just I'm playing it in its original aspect ratio.
Are we talking about Shenmue then? Because I had
I might as well move on.
I
to
had the
Shenmue,
HDMI thing, and now we're talking about Shenmue.
So, the Shenmue 1 and 2 HD collection came out this past week on everything but Switch. Came out on PC, PS4, and the Xbone, and introducing Shenmue to a brand new generation of people who have missed out on the game, especially since the first game was only available on Dreamcast, and second game, was only available on the Xbox in the States. So it was a weird thing of
weird transfer.
Yeah.
I think Yakuza Kiwami has spoiled me somewhat in terms of like how remasters go.
Yeah.
Because this is like, it's not a remaster. It's just a re-release with
some
textures improved.
Here's the thing.
They've kept the same original menus.
Here's what's happened this gen that I think has kind of created like this misunderstanding, I think, of between remaster and remake.
I suppose.
Yakuza Kiwami is a ground-up remake of the very first game of Yakuza.
Because we had this discussion with Shadow of the Colossus as well.
Yes, Shadow of the Colossus is a ground-up remake of Shadow of the Colossus. The original assets of that game are not in there. Just like Yakuza Kiwami, the original assets of that game are nowhere to be found. That is made on the Yakuza 0 engine, whereas the Shenmue remaster is a remaster of the original release from the Dreamcast. They are the same assets, touched up a tad, the same sound, the same everything. So it is a remaster, but it is not a remake. So I think that that clarification warrants stating. So like it does what it says it's going to do. Because my friend messaged me, goes, "Yo, I was expecting like a Shadow of the Colossus thing." It's like, well, I mean, they never really ever said that that it would ever be that.
I mean, I will say that it does look a lot like Shenmue 3. Literally, the game opens with Ryo with like a blank stare on his face, going.
It's funny. I
want that as a GIF.
The faces have been like heavily scrutinized from the Shenmue 3 trailers, and they're very stiff. That's kind of the only thing. If they moved a little bit more, they'd maybe look a little more natural. But it's very true to the old games.
It's like a year tomorrow that Shenmue. No, a year.
Yeah. 4 days from now, it'll be a year.
4 days.
August 29th.
I'm not going to beat it in 4 days.
No, a year and 4 days until Shenmue 3 comes out. Fucking calm down, Kinra.
So yeah, it's been fun to kind of read, different impressions on the game from people who haven't played it, people who maybe haven't played it in a while, who maybe don't remember certain things about it, because it's one of those games that's gonna be polarizing in a lot of ways, especially after it's been hyped up so much, mostly just on the announcement of Shenmue 3, where it's been like, whoa. People are flipping out over this sequel. Like, I've never played these games before. What's the deal here? Now they finally have that chance to jump in and check it out, and it's been interesting to read. It's one of those series that I totally understand why someone wouldn't like it. It's not one of those things that I'll fight to the death for it. I would fight to the death.
That's the thing is, even if I don't enjoy it or Kinross doesn't enjoy it, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. So,
and it's one of those things where it's a weird game. And I mean, I pitched it to you guys as being the thing that inspired Yakuza, but I also tried to make it clear that it is not Yakuza. It plays very different.
But I was expecting Yakuza.
Where's Majima?
It's a very slow-paced game, and to me, I think these problems are fixed a bit in the second game. The second game has a much bigger world, a much larger cast of characters. Second game takes place in China. You're a fish out of water type situation, and there's a lot of it's a lot faster in terms of how it's telling you its story. There's a lot more quality of life stuff. There's a time skip feature in the second game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a lot in Shenmue 2 that fixes a lot of things that people didn't like about Shenmue 1. It still very much plays like Shenmue, but like it's a much more like I don't want to say full experience because I think Shenmue 1 offers that too, but it's if you're not digging, if you like what you're playing but you're not digging it too much, I'd say, you know, okay, but you said you use a guide or something. I'd say do whatever makes you most comfortable playing it, just so you can at least try Shenmue 2 out as well. I wouldn't never skip the game to play Shenmue 2 because the story continues and you carry your save over. So what are you guys thinking about Shenmue?
I will say I don't feel particularly comfortable giving like my proper thoughts on it because I haven't played that much of it.
Right.
I definitely appreciate the fact that you warned us about a lot of stuff. You were like, oh, by the way, it's got kind of tank controls. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was the only other thing that I did, was I walked around Rio's room trying to work out how movement worked. Tank controls always confuse me. I feel like they work in one way and then they don't.
Yeah,
so once I leave that room, I'll have a proper try around.
I figured out that using the D-pad is the better way to go than trying to use the control stick with the tank controls.
Yeah, because it didn't even have analog control back in the day.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did the
D-pad.
Dreamcast have an analog stick?
Yeah,
did,
analog stuff was added in this, but
okay.
you mostly used the D-pad back in the day too, even on the Xbox. So like that's kind of the way it was developed.
Yeah.
I thought as well that I was going to kind of hate the way that the game looked. I think it looks quite good. Considering...
Yeah, go ahead.
Considering when it was made, and considering that it's literally just a HD port, essentially, I think it looks pretty good.
It's one of those things where I'm seeing it online, and I'm reading people's thoughts, and even the message from my friend who's like, oh man, it just looks like a butt-ass ugly Dreamcast game up there. Like, I don't think these games are ugly by any standard. Like, okay, if you release this game nowadays and it looked like this, you'd be like, what the fuck are they doing? What the hell is this? This game is almost 20 years old. One of the first games to ever handle an open world like this in the history of video games. When this game came out, GTA was still top overhead. Yeah. There's nothing like this, like at all. Took the like philosophy of a point-and-click adventure game, popped it into an open world like this, full NPC schedules, full day and night cycle. All of these things that like, whoa, what the fuck? And like, it just looks like shit. It doesn't look bad. It looks fine. It's
for a Dreamcast. If it was like a PlayStation 4 game that just came out and it looked like this, everyone would be like,
well, yeah,
it's a Dreamcast game.
A lot of old games.
Honestly, I think that the thing that will be the biggest problem for me is, and I think that there's an option for it in the options. I might have, if there is an option, I might actually have to turn the HD off, because seeing HD graphics with that audio quality is really weird to me. At least if it looks worse, I'll be like, yeah, okay, it's
I definitely want to make more progress on it, because like the story is intriguing to me. It's just a lot of figuring things out right now. Like, I didn't know about the map thing. Bill told me that if you hold the zoom button, it translates signs that I couldn't read before. Mm-hmm. So if I'd known that when looking for this house for this old lady that's probably dead now, then I might have been able to help her. But
it's a game that I know people will have like growing pains with playing it for the first time, because the game does its own fucking thing. And like, even where it's like, oh no, it's just old. Like, I think even Shenmue 3 is gonna do shit like this, because it's just Shenmue, and like, it kind of wants you to feel like you're in this slice of this kid's life in this little coastal town, and like, oh, I don't know where this place is. Like, well, I guess I'll just ask this old lady. Maybe she knows, and if she doesn't know, I'll ask the guy at the hot dog stand, or if he doesn't know,
I will say one of the things
that's not
I've
the English way to do it.
I ask people, I talk to people all the time, but they do not want to give me the right information. They're like, oh, you're looking for the barber, and I'm like, no. No.
It's a weird thing of like, before there were dialogue options.
Yeah.
Of like, what does this game want me to ask? Okay, but I want to ask about, because I have like, okay, the 3 blades of wherever. I want to know where they might be. I want to know where the barber shop is or where the cook is.
You know what fucked me off the most is I went to the wrong barber shop at first, and it turns out
There's
that's
2
exactly where
barbershops.
you need to go. I don't think you can go in there. You just got to go to the other barber
I
shop.
think there's a particular point in Shenmue 1's story where it does pick up its pace. Like, I know I say Shenmue 3 is a faster paced game, and like in terms of its storytelling and a much bigger cast. Shenmue 1 is a very slow start. What's up?
You said
You mean
Shenmue 3.
Shenmue 2? You're like, Shenmue
I say
3 is a
3?
much faster paced game.
Yeah,
like...
my bad. Shenmue 2, yeah,
It's just Bill's from the future, so he just...
No. That's why Bill's going on hiatus. He's got to finish making Shenmue 3.
There is a point, and I've hit it in Shenmue 1 now, where like, you know, it's like it's I love the series because like it's such an innocent feeling game at first, where you're just this naive little kung fu boy who wants to avenge his dad's death, who thinks he can just go out and do this shit.
Jiu-jitsu
Like he thinks he
boy.
can just go out and just go fuck he thinks he can go just fuck people up. But like it's a story where he gets involved in things that, like, you know, wow, like what the hell was going on here? Like, you know, I'm in over my head, or this is really dangerous, and you get a sense of not only in Shenmue 2 Fish Out of Water, but just he's a kid, Ryo Hazuki. He's not a grown. He looks like a grown man, but he's a high school kid, and
What?
and yeah,
He
high
looks
school
older
boy.
than Kiryu.
He does, actually.
Yeah, because you're talking to your friend and she mentions the entrance exams and shit like that.
I will
to you and
say,
everything.
as well, I really wish they'd picked any other game to put in that arcade that, just not Space Harrier. I really, really don't like Space Harrier.
Space Harrier kind of sucks, right? Like,
I don't
I don't
like
what
think
a
it.
boring
that
game. What is
It was in Yakuza as well.
Yeah, I know, but
Yep.
I didn't play any
Yep.
of the actual like arcade games. I was all about that.
No,
crane
that's
game.
why you need to play Yakuza 6, Bill, because fucking Puyo Puyo's in the arcades.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
Or you could just buy Puyo Puyo Tetris for the Switch.
Or that, but you can play
Well, I could
Puyo
just
Puyo.
buy Yakuza 6. And play Puyo.
I mean, you
Puyo.
bought it, didn't you?
No,
I don't
he
have
hasn't bought
Puyo
it yet.
Tetris.
Oh,
I have
I
my
thought that
Yakuza
you.
6, yeah.
I thought you bought it, but you just hadn't played it because you weren't going to play
No.
through 6 till 2. Man, we need to
No.
talk about 6.
We will. I'm going to play Kiwami 2 and move on to 6. I'm not gonna fuck around with this shit anymore.
I want you to live stream the last 2 hours of that game.
I'm excited.
I just want your
Yeah, but
reaction.
how's he know when the last 2 hours are?
I'll tell him.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Let me know what chapter it is when
Yeah.
I'm getting close. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your continued thoughts on it. I know, like you
Yeah,
said, you
it's-
haven't played enough of it. It's one of those things where I think you kind of ease into its systems and get acclimated to, like, okay, this game controls old,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of things in here that, like,
I wish
its own
they had
thing.
gone back and done a bit of quality of life stuff on it. Like, not remade the game entirely, but made it so that, the controls weren't so wide, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Like you
is it
move in, a
possible to-
really big circle.
Is it possible to patch in analog controls?
could be.
Prob-
Yeah,
Probably if you've got the base code of the game, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
So could they
I'm-
have added analog controls? is
I'm
what
curious. I'm curious what they can do with it. You know,
Without
and on
remaking.
top of what they've already done. Yeah, because they've changed the clouds. The cloud tech is different. The cloud used to be just like little drawings. Now they're like full volumetric looking clouds up there. They've added like area teleporting, where like when you leave your dojo, it lets you pick your areas. I don't think that was in the original game.
Oh,
So instead of
okay.
like, oh, I gotta walk to Dobiita every time, now it's like, oh, I want to go there, and it just takes you there. I think that's new. I don't remember it.
Okay.
This
I
this
could
is
be
going to sound
misremembering, but
like Dreamcast had a slight piracy issue.
yes,
A slight one, yeah, sure.
So I'm assuming that
a lot
this
of people
must have-
probably
this-
played this game.
that a lot of people played this game, but similarly, a lot of people must have worked on modding it and all that sort of stuff. Do you think that anything was taken from that, or would Sega just be like, that was stolen, we're not dealing with it, we're gonna
as
keep
far
it
as I
as it
know,
was?
because I've been reading the Steam forums, because that's where most of the emulation, the emulating modders are at, talking about. Because on the Dreamcast emulator, people spend a lot of time like adding widescreen modes and doing adding little mods to it and stuff like that. A lot of those people have been talking about how it's just a really faithful recreation, not even recreation, just a straight up remastered port of the original games and what's in them. I mean, besides the improvements on the clouds and the teleporting and all that shit, and the Japanese voices, which we never had. So I am curious. I mean, they've been able to add in the Japanese dub. They've been able to change some visuals around. I assume they have the ability to maybe change aspects of the gameplay. I'm just wondering if maybe a lot of people are like, Sega was lazy. But I'm thinking they might have just chosen not to do this because they might have felt people would have flipped the fuck out if they changed. Because there are certain series where the fan bases are strange, and Shenmue has some weirdos in there. Like who are reactionary and like, fuck you don't touch this, type of stuff. But also, I can't imagine them complaining on an improvement like that. You know, I would have taken it. You know what I mean? And I'm a big fan. You know, so
it's just like little things for me coming into it for the first time, especially since I don't very often go back and play games from 20 years ago unless I've already played them. But you have to make sure that I stay good on the idea of finishing this game, because as soon as Yakuza comes out, nothing else matters to me. So you're going to have to make sure that I go back and play more Shenmue after.
I think that we'll just... Because I'll be the same. I think what I'm probably going to do is, for Yakuza Kiwami 2, is like somewhat blitz the story, so that I can then do like the open world.
That's what I did with 6, so yeah.
Not a bad idea, honestly.
And that's what I did for Kiwami 1, mostly because, you know, it was not a massive amount to do.
That's what I did with Kiwami 1. Yeah, Kiwami 1 didn't have a lot of side stuff, to be honest with you.
But yeah, so... Because then I could be like, you know what, I feel like being in that world. I'm going to plod around Kamurocho or wherever and...
Oh, no, excited! You just mentioned Kamurocho and I'm like, take me there.
A few days, playable Majima.
This is when the bank's like, yeah, you don't have any money, so you can't play Yakuza until next week, and I cry.
We will check back in on Shenmue.
Yeah, come back to it whenever we're back.
We'll probably have a spoiler cast on it or
for
something.
people.
Like the easiest thing.
People on the fence about Shenmue and stuff. Like this game, I think they're wonderful, weird little games, and it's a really cool look back at like kind of these open world philosophies that existed 20 years ago. That like some of the stuff's just commonplace. Full NPC schedules is one of the things that always impressed me about it, and one of the most contentious points about Shenmue 1 is the waiting around for shops to open and stuff like that.
Perfect time for a bathroom break.
Like, I can't disagree with criticism like that. You know, I love these games to death. That's why it's fun for me to watch new people play them, because, like, I want to defend, like, some of the stuff that people say to me, but it's like, no, I understand that, you know? Like, that's
You're the
not
one
something
person
that I would
that I don't
disagree
want to be,
with, you know?
I don't want to be like, this game sucks, too, because I know it's very important to you, so...
I mean, I trust that, you know, you two give it a fair shake, and I also trust that you two will like it. It's a thing where, like, give it time and trust me.
If I don't like it, it will be the first game you've ever recommended to me that I wouldn't have liked. Me. And the last game that you properly recommended to me was Yakuza, and by the end of this year I will have played 4 Yakuza games, so...
Yeah. With the right mindset going into Shenmue, and this kind of knowing... That's why I'm really trying to, like, when it's people I really want to, like, make sure that I don't want them to either have false pretenses, or I don't want them to walk into a game and, like kind of be like, Bill said this was amazing, and I don't know what's happening. It sucks.
I do think it's kind of weird that they've...
gently guide you.
Yeah. I do think it's kind of weird that they've just released basically a HD port of the game when this year has been... Well, this year and last year, I guess, has been pretty big on, like, remakes. At least for me, personally. Like, I don't know if it's just a thing that's happening or if it's a thing that's happening personally to me. Like Shadow of the Colossus and Yakuza Kiwami and stuff. Feels like a really weird time to just have a HD port, if you know what I mean.
It feels like a sort of knee-jerk reaction to... Holy crap, the Shenmue 3 thing really blew up.
Yeah.
But not enough people know about it. We don't have enough time to invest in a full thing. We'll just get it out in time.
Interestingly, this is not done by Yu Suzuki's team. This is done by D3T, which is Sega is involved. Sega is not involved at all in Shenmue 3. That is being published by Deep Silver and developed by Suzuki's team. This was just
so is this Sega just
remastered
going?
and ported by Sega.
Now is the time.
Yeah, and also I guess it's a way to get people into the story. I think if you tried to ground up remake Shenmue, I think that's a much larger task than anybody wants to be involved in. Just because you would need to make sure that you have these systems in there, like, and that this world is as detailed as it is, because you will find that as you explore it more and more and more, like, you could examine and look at and interact with so many things that you didn't even think you could, and these worlds are so dense that I don't think a single human being wants to be involved in remaking these, as much as I would love to see that. Maybe it's something for the future when Suzuki's done with 3, who knows, but
so
I totally get
is
that, though, you know.
The end of Shenmue, then.
So
he said that he wanted another trilogy, didn't he?
So here's the thing. I want to sit down with this guy and be like, yo, buddy, look, you are lucky. You got the third game. Never would have happened in 1,000 years. In interviews, when he's asked, okay, you know, what's your arc? What's your plan for Shenmue? And he's like, oh, well, Shenmue 1 and 2 were like up to chapter 3 of like a 9-chapter story. And Shenmue 3 is going to be like chapter 4 and 5. It's like, Yu Suzuki, buddy, people are on a cliffhanger for fucking over a decade. If you make Shenmue 3 and you don't provide a satisfying conclusion to Ryo Hazuki's story, and you don't get a 4th game because this 3rd game bombs, you realize you just fucking repeated history? You can't do this to people, buddy. You want to make more Shenmue games? Fine. This is like chapter 5 out of 9. End Ryo Hazuki's story in it, and then continue something else. Because
Speaking of cliffhangers,
that's the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard. And I can't wait for this game. I love this guy, but like, when I read that, I'm like, you moron. Like that you are getting a second shot at life here. Don't plan out another trilogy. It took you so many years to get the 3rd game. The fuck. I'm so worried about it. What's up?
Not cliffhanger, sorry, but speaking of like long gaps between games, during Amazon's bank holiday sale at the moment, I saw that Beyond Good and Evil is it Beyond Good and Evil? The Ubisoft game that's just gotten a sequel. Yeah. That's on there for like £3.
Oh.
Because it's impossible
I heard
to
it's
find
a good game.
Get your deal in now.
Get it. So yeah, Shenmue. We'll check back.
Check back
Bayonetta,
in 6 months.
Speaking of games that how you feel about Bayonetta? Huh? You been playing Bayonetta?
So I played Bayonetta for a bit before I went back home. I played it on the Wii U. Didn't get very far. Hated it. Mm-hmm. I'm now playing it on the Switch, and I was like, I reached a moment where I needed to get some money, but because I don't know if it's the same over in the States, but to own Bayonetta 1, you have to buy Bayonetta. Oh my god, that's so bright. You have to buy Bayonetta 2, and it comes as a download code. If you use the download code, at the moment, you can't trade in this game because it's an incomplete thing. So, because the spine says Bayonetta 1 and 2. Because normally, like, there's the caveat when you buy pre-owned stuff of DLC might not be included for, like, pre-orders and stuff. But because the spine says Bayonetta 1, it's a bit of a mess. So I am now further along than I have ever been. And there are some enemies that I absolutely despise. They tend to come in pairs. There's like a fire one and an ice one. And the reason I hate them...
They're the worst! They're the fucking worst, Ross!
The reason that I hate them, and the same reason why I hate this sort of game, really, is because I suck at combos. And like any tutorial that I've been watching is like, so yeah, you want to practice your combos. This is the sort of thing that you want to get them like flying in the air and then slam them down. It's like, you can't just button mash your way through. And I'm having to button mash my way through because I don't know. You played it on the Switch, didn't you, Bill? Mm-hmm. I think. I don't know if you've got the same problem. The game loads too fast. You cannot practice your combos for long enough because you're like, okay, I'm trying to practice. Like, the thing I'm trying to practice the most is like the pause, like how long of a pause you need for it to count as a pause. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll get to do it like one. I'll get to do like one set of moves, and then the game's loaded. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And apparently, there's a way to like store your combo progress, so you can be like, bang, bang, do something. I think it's like a backflip or something, and then bang, and it'll finish off the combo. I don't know that. So yeah, it's weird. I'm I've obviously committed enough that I've gone further than I've ever gone before. Before I couldn't beat the three-headed guy the first time. The face, upside down face with the two dragon heads. When you meet him the first time, I couldn't beat that, and I'm now beyond that. I don't know whether my hell with Bloodborne has improved that, whether that's related or what, but I do want to finish it. I just haven't touched it for a while because I am in a point where it's just constantly these two dudes, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm just fed up with trying to fight them, because they take off like half your health.
They are horrible.
Or they trap you in, like, they don't necessarily take off half your health in one hit, but they'll trap you in like a stun, and then the other one's attacking you. It's like, Jesus Christ.
And you fight them so often. Here's one of the things I played Bayonetta, I beat it, and I like the game well enough. I hear 2 improves on a lot of 1, and I do want to check it out because I own it. But man, oh man, oh man, there are some things I do not like in Bayonetta 1, and that's, those 2 enemies, okay, I just beat them. That felt like a mini-boss. I hope I never have to fight them again. Oh, fuck, here they are again. Oh, shit, 2 levels later. Oh, my God.
Checkpoints never happen quite when you want them
and,
to.
Oh, these ones are made of gold. Like, oh, well, fuck me. And I would beat them every time by the skin of my teeth. I would never escape that fight. Dude, I think I got a stone trophy on every level. I'm pretty sure.
I got I got a couple of golds, a couple of platinums early on, and then it's just been stoned the entire time because I'll get like 10, 12 deaths per level. And I'm spending literally all of my money on lollipops. Like, there are upgrades and moves that I could be buying, but I'm not earning enough money because I'm spending it all on lollipops to try and keep myself alive.
I wish you could turn the scoring trophies off, because, I mean, I get it. It's a cool way to challenge yourself, and, like, it's fun for replayability's sake if you like that stuff. Yeah. But nothing feels worse than beating a very hard level and then having the game go, haha, you suck. It's like, oh, well, fucking thank you for that. I already knew that,
Also, the accents are terrible. I hate them. I hate the voice acting so much.
Hello, darling.
As you Yanks say... What is it? What was it she said? What is the voice line? I'm gonna have to look it up.
I don't know.
Sorry. Bayonetta. As you Yanks.
Do you know right there, Bill?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm awake.
As you Yanks say, I'll bust a cap in yo ass.
That just sounds like bad writing rather than bad voice acting, to be honest.
It's bad writing and bad voice acting. Or bad voice direction. Because she says it pretty much like that. Bust a cap in yo ass. So frustrating.
Somebody wrote that.
Do you Yanks say that?
We do.
Not only did someone write it, someone was paid to write it. Because people write fan fiction for free.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
Bayonetta said, bust a cap in your ass. Genius. So, yeah, I don't imagine that the writing's going to get better for 2. But I hope that at least some of, like, the quality of life things, and maybe by then I'll be a little bit better at how to fight.
For sure.
But, yeah, it's... Along with everything else, it's on hold until I'm in a better mood. It's been tough at work, so it's just like I don't feel like punishing myself. Like, obviously, some people play those and like the satisfaction for beating it is like enough of a reward. I don't get enough of a kick out of it. Sometimes I just feel like challenging myself a bit, but I don't feel like oh man, it feels so good for that guy to be dead. So I don't get the benefit of like playing for 4 hours after work. Some Bloodborne or Dark Souls or whatever, so it's just stressful. So it's on hold for the moment.
Very stressful game, yes. Speaking of stressful games, I played a game
Sorry, who
That-
struck out my Bayonetta?
I did.
Oh my god.
Bill's been on it.
I am on top of this. Okay, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. Who's doing that? That's amateur hour. So speaking of a stressful game,
No one's got
This
any idea
game-
what's happening right now.
this game is so good. It has left people literally speechless. Of
Is
their
this the
own.
IGN one?
Yeah, this is the IGN.
yes. This is a game so good that people had a hard time thinking of stuff, so they had to copy somebody else. Dead Cells. What a load that guy is.
Yeah, you were playing this just before we started.
Yeah, I've been really hooked on. Now I've owned it in early access, but I got it in early access like 2 or 3 months before it was going to be coming out. So I just never really. I was like, you know what, I might as well wait. You know, it's one of those things. You know, I'll wait till 1.0. If I get something in early access and it's like a year and a half away, I'll play it. But in this case, you know, I wanted to get it also because the price increased once it came out for real.
Yeah.
But Dead Cells is on everything. I don't know if it's on Xbox. I know it's on PS4. I know it's on Switch.
It might be.
I think it's on Xbox. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And it's on Switch. And Dead Cells is a roguelite Metroidvania platformer game that, like, you know, okay, wow, we've seen that 1,000 fucking times before.
Yeah, it's on Xbox.
What makes Dead Cells so good? Honestly, as somebody who loves these games, these genres, and you know, in general, I love platformers, I love Metroidvanias, I love roguelites and roguelikes and all the fucking shit that makes you mad. This is probably one of the best ones I've ever played in my life. In terms of nailing the progression loop and that progression that stays with you after you die. That's one of the things I like a lot about roguelites. I mean,
Did you watch someone else's video?
Oh, God, you're fucking around me. I was gonna say, I don't know. I mean, yeah, these games are a lot of these are similar. Yeah, you know, I have to be super careful about what I'm saying about Dead Cells now.
Did the
you know,
something about the cooldowns being?
It turns out that I didn't.
The cooldowns are pretty quick in like a non-traditional
Because the
roguelite
game
way.
wants you to use all of your abilities or something.
As much as possible,
as it
just feel like
turns
as
out-
cool as you can.
As it turns out, I'm not taking a break from the show because I'm like burnt out. It's because I know that I'm about to get hit for plagiarism, and I want to get out before you guys go down with me. You know?
Save the show.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I've got to re-edit every single episode of the Permadeath podcast to just cut Bill
We're taking
out
them out of everything. Yeah.
Even the
but
first
yeah,
ones.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
poor IGN.
Dead Cells kind of carries on that like Rogue Legacy tradition of like, okay, you do a run, okay, it sucks that you died, but hey, you carried over either some currency or some experience or some unlocks, and the more you play and play and play, like, wow, this game seems insurmountable, but now after a bit, it's like, wow, you know, my health flask now has 3 charges instead of 1, and I now can start with a random weapon that's much better than what I was starting out with before because I've unlocked these things and unlocked different starting weapons, and just adding more stuff into your general loot pool over time makes the runs easier. And it's a much more manageable experience over something like, say, Spelunky, where if you just suck at that game, you're never going to progress. Whereas Dead Cells, it's like, okay, you could really chip away at this. But the thing that really makes Dead Cells stand out, you know, amongst this, is that these other fucking games that carry this torch, it's the combat, man. Oh my god. It's such a hard thing to describe because, like, you could say that about, oh man, the combat just feels right, and it's like, well, what the hell does that mean? Like, what the fuck, you know? Because I think I've said the same shit about God of War, where it's like they've nailed something here. There's a weight to it, and like just a way that you float between enemy to enemy. I think that's the same thing I can say about Doom too. Is that like you are given these tools of destruction that, like, oh, I've got a freeze bomb, and I'm going to freeze this guy, but my hammer does 200% extra damage to frozen targets, and, like, if you get a synergy like that, and you could, like, roll through a large group of enemies and, like, pop your freeze bomb and, like, roll dash through, the movement also is very, very fucking, fluent, like just the way you're able to move around the environment and doing slam dashes and slide attacks and all these things, just sliding through freezing dudes, swinging your hammer and having them all shatter, and like seeing how far you can get with something like that. Or something runs, you get absolutely jack shit and you just kind of might as well die. The game's awesome, and the sense of speed that the game promotes amongst like not only just the synergies and everything else that allows you to kind of just clear rooms of enemies in a power trip, but just that at the beginning of each stage is like a locked door, and you can only access that door if you have reached it within a certain amount of time. So if you want to speed run through these levels, you have a much larger reward waiting for you at times, like a larger collection of cells or more weapons or lots of money or move scrolls or whatever, blueprints that are there for you. I very rarely get those because I like to kind of gut every level and see what I can get. But as the more I play it, the more I realize I don't need everything that I'm getting, so I might as well speedrun it. But
so the other maps, like say the first map, you die. Is it the same map over and over until you beat that one, and then it's like a randomly generated second map, so that you can actually speedrun it and learn where the doors are and go, or is it just pure luck?
Every level's layout like procedurally generates itself or randomly generates itself. They aren't like, interestingly enough, like it is procedurally generated, but it's a little bit less like, haha, that door is not there, procedural generation, than like other things. Like the levels are laid out different, but generally, if I want to go to the Promenade, which is one of the second areas, you typically are kind of always running in the same direction. If I want to go to the Toxic Sewers, which is the other alternate path you could take off of the first area, then you kind of know that I'm always going to climb the vines and go that way. And so
there's always like little tells as to where something might be.
Yeah, the game flows in a way where you get familiar with a zone that no matter how many times they rejig it, you kind of are familiar with it. Like it's never a thing of like, whoa, I'm exploring brand new territory. It's more just, okay, these rooms are now laid out differently and there's different enemies in them. That kind of randomness opposed to like No Man's Sky, where like, whoa, this planet has fucking rat trees or something. Like it's never like taking you by surprise with its but kind of like Binding of Isaac in a way. Where like Binding of Isaac, very familiar layout every time you play it, just different room layouts and different enemies in them. But
and Moonlighter.
It's I haven't played Moonlighter, but I take your word for it. I bought that. I got to start it.
Play it.
It's coming out physical on the Switch.
But and where the game gets its Metroidvania shit from is you'll get like as you like beat bosses, you'll get different abilities. Like when you first start the game, you find these pile of vines and you can't do anything with them yet. After you beat the first big boss, you get the ability to grow those vines, and then that gets you to the Toxic Sewers, which is an area you aren't able to get to originally.
Yeah.
Sewers seem like a thing that should go underneath
away.
What
yeah, but you might be like way down.
Yeah, you're already like way into this. Like when you start the game, you fall down into this depth, like dungeon area.
Okay. Sewers just sounds like a go down place to me.
For sure.
Have you never heard of those sky sewers?
Sky sewers.
Can you imagine? That'd be awful.
But
there's
the game's
a reason
awesome.
we don't have them.
If you like those kinds of things, definitely check it out. I'm having a wonderful.
I am definitely tempted by it. Is it? This is obviously subjective. Is it a brutally hard game like Isaac, or is it like? Is it the sort of thing where because you can carry stuff over that it's pretty tough to start with, and there obviously is harder moments, but it is more generous to you? That
second one, in my opinion, like the game does start out very hard because you just get like every run you start off that you could pick between either taking the bow or a shield with you. And if you take the shield, you have a sword and a shield. If you take the bow, you have a sword and a bow. Always take the bow. I
never use the shield in anything.
Like you get really cool shields later on, like legendary ones have cool effects. But in terms of the two base weapons, like you could parry with the shield, which is very useful, but not, to me, in my opinion, not more useful than having a ranged attack. Like it's, especially when it comes to closing the gap between enemies that can fuck you up early game. It starts off very tough, and I still have some problems with it, like very difficult portions of the game and areas I haven't been to. But it's a thing of once you're able to get more than one healing charge, game becomes exponentially easier because now you can have two full heals in one. Yeah. Once you are unlocking more upgrades in like the little hub area in between levels, oh, now I could get these perks that like give me things that let me gain HP back when I kill enemies, or things that let me re-roll the stats on my weapons, or like just a lot of incremental upgrades that really make the game much more manageable. And I'm not getting very far consistently. I make it past the first boss just about every single time now, but I wasn't doing that prior.
Yeah.
But I would say that, okay, it has a lot to do with my skill, but also I'm getting that far now because I can full heal twice, or I can do this. So the game gets incrementally easier as you play it. It is still tough, but it's not insurmountable where it's like, Jesus Christ, I'm never getting anywhere, like Darkest Dungeon or Isaac, or even Spelunky I would throw in there. I have never gotten far in Spelunky. That game is hard as shit to me. But there's nothing in that game to make it easier on you. You just kind of play it. But yes, I agree with that second point. That's what I was
In which
saying.
case, I might pick it up. By which
It'd be an awesome game on
this,
Switch.
I will pick up.
I want to get it on Switch. I have it on Steam because I just didn't buy it again because it's $25. But if I hadn't had it on PC, I would definitely grab it on Switch because it's a perfect game for that platform. So cool game. Loving it.
Nice.
Cool.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And that's all.
That's everything on the list.
I want to ask a question though, since
Sure.
we're going
Since
on
you've been gone.
hiatus after this. I want to know what games are coming out that you're looking forward to. Like, in particular, not like, oh, Little Dragon Cafe, because it looks quirky. Like, games that you're genuinely excited for.
Need
For
to
sure.
play.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those.
Pick 3.
Three? Okay,
Top
so...
3 games.
Right,
for the
we're
next
not counting
If-
Yakuza, because that goes without saying.
Obvious.
Yeah, if like these games, okay, yeah. So if these are the only 3 games you could play for the rest of the year, like these are the big motherfuckers. Well, obviously Red Dead.
Yep.
Red Dead 2.
Should we extend it for the next 12 months? Because there's one that I think Bill would want to play that comes out in about March time.
Well, we can stick with the year.
Yeah,
Yeah. Makes it easier. So yeah, I'd say Red Dead. Oh Jesus. I'm looking at the releases and
Well, one of mine is some DLC.
Xenoblade.
Yeah, the Xenoblade.
I
Xenoblade?
had to
I've
say-
never said it Xenoblade.
I had to sell Xenoblade. I'll have to pick it up again, but yeah.
The Xenoblade DLC for the Torna of the Golden
Spoilers.
Country stuff.
But yeah.
I'm really excited for it, and I don't know why, because I kind of didn't love a lot
Because-
of Xenoblade 2.
Because if you bought the expansion pass, you get swimsuits now.
You know what pisses me off is that I bought the expansion pass,
Yeah.
and then literally like 3 days later they were like, by the way, the DLC is getting a physical release.
How does that even work though? Like, do you
I don't
have
know.
to? It might just be like a code in a box. but you
It's
get, like,
not. It's a cart. I think it might be
like,
you know, if you've got the save data of Xenoblade on your thing on your
right.
Switch, it probably transfers over. Which it just fucks me off because I like buying physical things and now I've got to rebuy it. So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to Torna the Golden Country. I hope that at some point we might be able to do a spoiler cast on that. Not with Bill,
Torna.
obviously, because I'm not gonna make him play through 2 Xenoblade games to.
Never happening.
You would like one, I promise you
One
would
day.
like one.
One day.
Um,
One day.
You probably wouldn't finish one, but you would enjoy it.
I probably never finish it. Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, I'm excited about Torn of the Golden Country.
Does that?
So-
when is that?
28th
October time?
of... No, it's next month. It's September.
Oh crap! Well, I'm not gonna be able to get that in time. Well, I'll give Bill a little bit more time. I'm looking forward to Starlink.
Yeah! I'm looking forward to Starlink.
Battle for
as well.
Atlas.
They just announced Peppy Hare is going to be in the Switch version.
Alright, I'm gonna be honest. Because of memes, I actually thought I got Peppy and Slippy confused. I thought that Peppy was the frog. Or the
No.
toad.
No. It's Peppy Hare and
Yeah,
Slippy Doe.
Yeah. Because I'm a moron.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Battle for Atlas.
So yeah, I mean the 3 games I think that you know it's tough because I mean obviously there's other games I'm looking forward to. Like I'm looking forward to playing Call of Duty and stuff like that. Like I want to play those games. But the 3 like I can't do without them this year. Is definitely Red Dead, Valkyria 4. I can't wait to play that game.
I played the demo for that, and I quite liked it. It's a shame that the demo has shit tons of tutorials in it, though. So.
Yeah. And Pokemon. I'm really looking forward to it.
Really? Fair enough. I'm looking forward to trying it.
Didn't you know that Pokemon's dead? It's a dead on arrival
God damn it,
game.
this fucking baby game. How dare they make this baby game? I am honestly, I am 100% expecting that game to surprise people, and I am very much looking forward to playing it.
I hope it does. Though they'll never admit that it did. So
Yeah.
No, even if they play it and they have 400 hours in it, they'll pretend like they didn't buy it. Even though I can look at their Switch profile.
The other thing that I'm looking forward to, Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
They announced
awesome.
Crom in an unexpected turn of events. I was very hopeful because they sort of like had the model for him already. He could have been an Echo Fighter. They hadn't showed off Robin's ultimate. It's not an ultimate. It's a Final Smash. I don't know why I keep saying ultimate, but I was hopeful. Didn't think it would happen. Then it happened. I started screaming, "Oh my god!" My mum thought I was in trouble. So
Was in the Discord chat. It's just Crom.
I didn't even watch the fucking trailer the first time it happened. I just saw like the mark on his arm, and I'm immediately over to Discord, like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
But Ultimate, Smash Ultimate, I think it's going to be really good.
Yes, it will.
And Bill's going to get it, and that's going to be his fighting game that he's going to get good at.
I've been wanting to get. My goal this year was to get good at one fighting game.
You'll have
might as
a
well just
month.
wait for it to be smashed.
Yeah, you'll have 25 days.
And that's enough time to become Evo ready. Get booed by the Smash community.
I am gonna play Forsaken. That is probably my.
I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah.
I'm genuinely interested to see whether it's like Taken King levels.
I've been getting that Destiny itch again. You know, playing WoW and like.
I have been
Destiny
playing a bit of Destiny
gives that
2.
bite-sized MMO feel. How's it been?
Apparently, I came in halfway through an event. I'm sorry. I came in halfway through an event, and it requires a lot of grinding. Yeah.
Solstice hero thing.
And so I've given up on that, but it is still satisfying. It's still fun, in the way that Destiny 2 was. It still has its problems, but yeah. I don't want to just say Smash.
You already had your 3, haven't you? No, you haven't.
No, I said Starlink, and I mean, I am looking forward to Smash, but I feel like I should think of something else.
You know what it should be?
Mario Party. No. What?
I don't know.
It's looking through the list. Hold on.
It should be.
I mean, Smash
Dark
is an obvious
Souls
one.
on Switch.
Nah. Nah, it'll just be Smash. We'll say it's Smash.
Ooh, Warriors of Orochi 4 comes out October 16th.
That game's £55 on the Switch.
I can't wait for that game.
I like how you're whispering into the pop filter and not the
And it's still coming through as a whisper.
This is the mic.
I do want to play more of the demo for Valkyria Chronicles, because like the 2 maps that I played, I did enjoy. When does that come out? Is that October?
September 25th.
September.
Oh, for God's sake!
Everything is September.
I'm not earning enough to also go to London.
Fucking everything is
That's
September. I'm not joking.
yeah.
This is bad stuff.
I might have to wait until October to pick that one up.
Yeah, the only one that I'm worried about not being able to pick up when it comes out is Little Dragon's Cafe, because I feel like that's going to have like 4 copies printed, and it's just going to be digital otherwise. My room got really dark, so
Yes, it did. Such is the passage of time.
I'm in
Wow.
mourning for Permadeath, even though it's not dead.
That's sub 3 hours. I was going to say, did we want to talk about the Smash Direct, but
Nah.
there's not
Crumbs
really
in it,
to say.
that's all that fucking matters to me. I don't care what's in the rest of the game.
That's another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm loving that Gangplank Galleon remix, though. I'm
Yeah.
still in love with that remix. Have you heard it?
Fire
Flash?
Emblem Hero 1 is not
yeah,
great, but-
Smash's remixes are always incredible. So no surprise. Sounds awesome.
Can't wait.
With a bit of
Game's
a
gonna
rap
be the
and-
shit.
Oh.
Game is gonna be the shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's it.
Yep.
That's all.
That is.
I just thought it might be nice to have some idea of what we're going to be playing in the future while we're not recording.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to playing all this shit. I'm honestly like outside of like I got to pick 3. I am genuinely looking forward to playing Call of Duty this year. I know it's a weird.
What is the Call of Duty? Oh, is it Black Ops 3, 4?
Black Ops 4. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Blackout mode and just the general look of it. Everything I've been watching of that game, it looks very good. They've increased time to kill, which is something I've been wanting them to do for a while. Where like in previous Call of Duties, it kind of doesn't matter what gun you have if one bullet's gonna kill every fucking guy. So it looks really solid, and it's been I think rumored, confirmed, but that their battle royale is indeed 100 players. That's one of the things people are speculating. Like can they nail their engine and 60 FPS on console still, which is always a big thing for them. Is like our game is 60 FPS with 100 players on console, because I mean Fortnite has it, but Fortnite's very very stylized. Call of Duty is Call of Duty. They're talking about having a battle royale map that has vehicles and air vehicles and sea vehicles. Like, how are you gonna fucking do this? Like, you have no experience doing stuff like that. You're not DICE, so I'm very curious how it's gonna come out. And if it nail it, that's gonna be huge. Because there is, as of right now, no well done alternative, realistic military like battle royale game on PS4. And I would say no well alternative on the Xbox, as PUBG on Xbox runs like total dog shit. So this could be massive if they nail it. So hopeful, exciting. Yeah. Cool stuff. Gonna be fun. Obviously, we might not be doing a show next month, but you can obviously follow us all on Twitter, and all of our thoughts on games, as always, are on there.
Still stuff.
We'll still be doing stuff. We'll do some Overcooked 2. We'll do
when Bill buys it.
He will buy it.
It just broke.
Oh no, my Switch won't
Yeah,
turn on. Oh
no. But yeah, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Pepperdham. Where y'all at?
Bizarre Jelly 5. I don't know.
Getting raw.
All right.
At Kinroso 7.
I don't know what I was trying to do. I have
At Kinros 07.
at Kinros 07. I am amazed that I've gotten through this
line.
because
Sleep.
Side.
Go to sleep.
I did mention at the beginning I was dragged to a gay bar, and there was a drag queen performing, and of course I can't, I'm stood there in my, Abby knows what I'm like at parties, I'm very not bothered at all, and literally the only 2 times that anyone saw me move anything in any other way were singing Let It Go and bloody Bohemian Rhapsody, trying to out-sing the drag queen. I think I might have done it, but it wrecked my throat.
I'm proud of you.
So I'm amazed that I've managed to sound somewhat
You've made it.
normal. Yeah.
You've made it.
But go to bed.
Oh no, I've slept now. I don't need to sleep. But yeah.
I need sleep. I wanted to mention that I started playing Dungeons and Dragons as well.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Congratulations on finally rolling the dice. I know
I
everyone's been
rolled
waiting
so
for me
many
to finish
natural ones last
and
time.
for us to organize our campaign, but has not happened yet.
It will though.
But we will play, yeah.
As soon as time allows.
Yeah.
But Dungeons and Dragons is quite good. I recommend it. I quite enjoy
It's my
it.
favorite game.
I
ever.
can see why. It's very versatile.
Yep.
I'm playing a tiefling cleric as well.
Yeah.
And I love her. And I really hope she doesn't die.
The rest of your party hopes she doesn't die too.
Yeah, I don't have any diamonds though, so they're fucked if they die.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all.
Awesome.
I just wanted to mention it because I love it.
Everyone out there should play Dungeons and Dragons too. Get some friends together, roll some dice. If you can't find any friends to do it, find some local communities that perform the act of dice rolling.
Kenros, your solution is just to ask Bill very nicely when we can do it.
Yeah, keep asking. Just keep asking. Abby, get me in your game, please.
I don't think he wants to DM for more people.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. I'll
But
for myself.
with that said, this has been the Permadeath Podcast, episode 43. If you're listening to this for the first time and you haven't checked the feed in a while, you can also get episode 42. Take a listen to that, 2 for 1. I know how excited that sounds. I know how much that makes your week. I hope it carries you through. These are both long. That one's 4 hours. You can listen to that one over the course of a few days. You know what I found out? People have been doing. It's very weird. I tried it. It's fucking strange. I listen to a lot of podcasts at work. I was reading about people listening to them at like 1.5, 2 times speed, so they can get through more podcasts. It sounds insane. Like
some podcasts work like that. I edit the podcast at 1.8 if I'm really desperate to get it done, and that's not easy.
That makes sense for editing. Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. It depends entirely on like what sort of speaker the person is, because obviously if they speak relatively quickly anyway, when you're going to play at 1.8 speed, they're just going to go.
So Bill,
if it's like a slower pace thing, then
I can't imagine listening to this show on like 2 times speed. You know.
So, I mean, it's possible, but yeah.
But yeah, if that's what helps you get through our show faster, go ahead and do that if that's what you want. I never honestly thought that was an option until I saw people saying, like, oh yeah, listen to your show. Not our show, but like other people.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to your show 2 times speed. And I was like, what the fuck? So I tried it out, and it's like, everybody going to the highlight. Everyone's like, oh, hello, it's a regular game. And how are you fucking doing that? How are you possibly focusing on that episode?
I recommend over our break that you catch up on the Permadeath lore. Listen to everything from episode 1 and see how far
go back.
we've come.
It is
listen.
those first few episodes.
Those first few episodes, I think, was Bill recording his desktop audio.
I was using a webcam. Yeah, just awful audio. Fucking horrible.
Do you remember what made us switch to Audacity?
No.
Was the episode where I got super fed up because I'd started editing it, and there was, I think it was on Google, for Mario's anniversary, you could click the button and it made the coin sound, and Bill was recording his desktop, and so he just went. I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's one of my favorite. I forgot about that. That's one of my favorite moments on the show. That is fucking hysterical. What episode number is that?
Not a clue. But I did it myself, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's coming through the desktop. It's going to be picked up by the program we were using at the time. No.
Amazing.
I
forgot
genuinely have no idea. Oh my god. Oh, it's going to be sad when Permadeath's dead.
But yeah, if any of our long-time listeners could remember when that was, so that I can clip it, that'd be great.
Yes, I need that clip.
Oh my
I will
God.
scour. That is too good.
Oh god.
All right. Anyway, everybody, hope you enjoyed the episode. Permadeath will be back. Keep your eye on the channel too. Other stuff will be showing up. Follow us on Twitter at PermaPodcast for any updates on anything that's happening. As always, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, any other podcast service that you're enjoying.
And Anchor.fm.
Oh yeah, do we migrate the feed over there?
Yep.
Holy shit, Kinrosh, you did that? Well,
Yeah, sorry, I meant to tell you there was a brief problem where Postgame and Permadeath became the same podcast, because even though
I remember that. Yeah. I remember that.
It got.
But I didn't know you actually fully migrated the.
I think
awesome.
I think I did. I'll double check, but it should.
I've never looked. I don't even know what the URL is for that. What is the URL for that? Yeah, here it is right here. Yeah, Permadeath Podcast. Wow, yeah, it's all there. Well, awesome. So yeah, you can find us on Anchor FM, anchor.fm/the Permadeath Podcast. And according to this, it's available on 7 other podcast platforms. So yeah, wherever you're listening, it's probably there. Which is nice.
If you're already listed on there, it's probably on there.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, as always, again, keep locked, keep looking at our stuff, looking at our feeds, looking at our stuff. We'll have stuff coming in the future. Might not be in the form of this exact show, but it will be in the form of other shows and other videos. And remember, don't fret. We'll see you in the history.
That's never going away.
No.
I've only.
Can we mention something? very important because today, the day that we're recording, is the 30th birthday of Mario. Came out 30 years ago.
Hey!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Mario! That sound like him?
Oh, good God.
That sound like
And this will probably be gone by the time that this podcast gets uploaded. But when you Google Super Mario Bros, in the information section that they put on the side, there's a little question mark block, and if you click it, it makes the coin sound.
Oh, good God.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Now, it's going to be in the podcast now. There we go. There's a coin sound of the podcast.
Coin!
Bill,
Coin,
it comes
coin!
through. It comes through on your end.
Wait, what?
Any video or sound that you listen to whilst we are recording the podcast comes through on the stream. That's why there was that one episode where you had a video playing in the background, and that was going through onto the podcast.
Wait, did it come through on my recording?
It comes through on the recording, yes. The software is stupid. It records.
So wait,
It records your microphone and your computer sound.
So the file that I'm recording on my PC right now is getting all these coin sounds right now.
Yeah.
No fucking way. No fucking way.
So we may well end up using mine, which has just the one coin sound.
We're keeping. Welcome, Mario.
Oh God!
All right. Happy birthday.
That was worth a mention.
Every time I hear a click, I'm just imagining that there's a coin going.
Dude, I had no idea it recorded everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably should have mentioned it before, but I mean, I guess don't watch anything bad.
Oh shit. Anyway. Oh, that's great. That's great. Mario's had a pretty good week. And weekend as well. Everyone's been playing and loving Mario Maker. I haven't been able to pick it up yet.